Hello,
Hey.
and welcome to episode 19 of Pinnacles here on happyjacksrpg. This is a Wild Talents system superhero game, and everything's going great and good. My name is Jason. I'm the guide for this game. We do get a little bit bloody and gross in this superhero campaign, so this is not a four-color Silver Age, everyone's shiny and happy. This we get a little bit gritty in this superhero campaign, so just F your eye. Is that not what it stands for?
F you right in the eye. That's right.
No, I said F your eye, which is what the Y stands
Skull
for.
fucking. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and just so you know, because we get a little gritty, we also have safety tools in place. All Happy Jack shows do. It's worth noting because you should use them. As Clara says, if you're bad at safety tools, you're bad at sex. No further questions, Your Honor. Pooja?
Well, this game is now in session. I am Pooja. I'm playing Sapna, the sneakiest sneak who ever snuck. With maybe slightly less sneaky powers now.
Yeah, a little update. You did download an update.
I did. And this new OS is maybe a little buggy.
Yeah.
Like, might have been the beta version.
So, never mind. Okay. Sarah, what do you have to say for yourself?
Hi, I'm Sarah, and I'm definitely here in person. Watch me demonstrate it by patting Pooja gently on the shoulder.
There we go. That
Yes,
worked great.
good.
That worked great.
Sold it.
No,
I felt it in
folks,
my
everyone
heart.
believes it.
It actually
I
does
play-
look great because the chair's right behind your shoulder there, and
It
it
does
really
look
looks
kind
like.
of. It's like, oh, I gotta take a load off. I'm playing Kit, the biokineticist, who is having a great time. Unironically, I'm not saying that sarcastically.
You're actually currently
We're having a pretty good time.
doing
Mhm. That's right. You were celebrating that everybody else was having drama and that you were feeling pretty good.
Yeah. No notes. Eli.
Playing Hector, who's also playing El Vagabundo, the Telepath. And he's just real focused on some tacos right now, guys.
Yep.
And he got a mech.
He did get. I mean, it's a power armor, not
It's a
not
mech.
a mech.
He's calling it a mech.
Okay.
It's a mini mech.
Okay. Yes. In the way that power armor is a miniature mech.
Mhm.
Yes.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. And it is power armor as if Apple Corp became the Warhammer 40K.
Mhm.
So
So it's kind of like Baymax.
yeah, it's very sleek and all white plastic and
Marvin the
all that
Martian
kind of stuff.
from the. or not Marvin the Martian. Marvin
the robot.
android.
Yeah, Marvin the
Oh,
android.
yeah.
Yeah.
That
Speaking of,
Oh, hey. I'm Enge. I play Chainsaw, also known as Sentinel, and a bunch of other things. He's a brawler, but also moves fast and can now shoot things with his hands.
a man of many names.
That's right.
As the saying goes.
That's right. They call him Hand Shooter in
Yeah.
South.
Hand shooter. I'm sorry that was said out loud.
Go, Web, go.
Sarah, please talk about anything else.
Oh boy, I'd love to talk. There's so many things that I talk about here, but I think today I'd love to talk about what happened last week in our last episode.
Oh, okay.
I know
Yeah.
it's a little
What
bit of
happened
a
last week?
change.
That's kind of a fun topic shift.
I was
Yeah,
just
let's.
thinking of mixing it up. What did happen last week? We had just killed the Sapna ganger. And
Doppelganger.
the
I was very
Doppler
proud
gang.
of that, and I'm not gonna let it go.
That is very good. We just killed the Dopplerganger, and he had collapsed to the ground. But the danger was not gone because with these powers, as Kit was able to see, shooting their way towards Sapna, there was danger. The danger being that there were a lot of legs and arms, cybernetic ones specifically, not fleshy ones, that
they were a
were
little fleshy.
still. They were still looking for a master, And they found a comptroller in Sapna who was panicking because their brain was now filled with so many different things going, help, please, what do we do next? And they passed out, and all of them went into panic mode and began attacking and rushing towards us. So the gang sprang into action to try to A, protect Sapna, and B, make this onslaught stop. And we were able to help out Sapna, expand their mind a little bit in order to help them get a hang of things, bring them back into consciousness. And once we had done so, things kind of started to calm down. And Sapna said, I need a way to control this. We found some gloves that Kit put onto Sapna, and it was very normal and heterosexual and not romantic at all. With all of that done and this threat finally vaporized, we headed back to Scintillation in order to get some health back because we were all pretty beat up, and we found ourselves.
Sapna also had a fun little trip to
True. Oh my God.
mentally
Yes.
to another dimension.
Sapna faced off with Brian.
Yeah.
When
Or
they went off
FaceTimed.
into another FaceTimed with Brian. When they went off into another dimension, Brian was like, what the hell are you doing here? How did you find me? And Sapna, being as smooth as they always are, was like, I did this on purpose, definitely. Fuck you.
I'm coming to get you.
I'm coming to get you. Brian took out a scary looking thing and started to zap Sapna with it when we brought Sapna back to consciousness, and we didn't see the end of that conversation. Maybe we would have gotten more information. Maybe he would have done a bad thing. There's no way to know.
But we do know regular Brian
Is not with
is
Brian.
is not with Brian, and Brian doesn't know where regular Brian is.
Yes. So
Yep.
regular Brian escaped. Good news
Mhm.
for us. Once we got back to the health bay, there were really cool pods that we slipped ourselves into, and they healed us up all nice and cool. And while we were
And gave us
having a
back
very
all of our
nice
willpower.
time, they gave us back all of our willpower. It was wild.
Yeah. They took, it was actually a multiplier. They gave you 3 times 1 multipliers. So you could multiply your willpower by 1 3 times.
Oh
Ooh.
man,
Um,
that's so useful.
Yeah. So,
Hang on while I do some math.
yeah.
Sapna and Kit had a very emotionally charged conversation where they were able to work out some difficulties that had happened from the fight where Brian disappeared. They reinstated their care for each other. Sapna notably said, I don't need you to do better. I just need you to lean on me the way that I lean on you. And I have internalized that. So while we were having that conversation, Hector and Chainsaw began to have a conversation of their own where Hector kind of mused on the idea of what it's like to be a super who's still kind of a civilian who's expected to make these life or death decisions and how he feels about that. We'll probably see more of that later because it got interrupted by Chainsaw's multiversal X showing up as a nurse. X is in X alive, gone from this life.
His widow.
Yes.
Wouldn't he be
Dallas.
He would be the widower.
Her.
Yeah.
He's the widower, yes.
Yeah.
You weren't
Dallas, who
married.
was
Not with that
super
attitude.
couple.
I know, rude.
They can't marry a corpse.
Not with that
I
attitude.
mean, yeah.
Ugh.
Maybe not in this state, but go down south, you're good.
Space station.
That's right.
Different rules.
And it was
Yep.
sad.
Yep.
Don't let all this distract from the fact that it was very sad.
It was sad.
Mm-hmm.
And then Chainsaw was, reminded of his past and reminded that there are worlds out here that have a person that he once knew and loved still alive. Terrifying. Absolutely terrifying. And with that revelation, we all headed back to our rooms and reconnected with all of the doctors and got them all in a big old shindig. And we're like, let's get home. But right before that, Kit and Hector checked out their multiversal selves. Kit decided not to kill their multiversal self just because they didn't want the superpower of gardening. That was the only reason. And then we connected everyone together and we went home and everything was super cool and fine. And nobody is having a bad time.
Yeah.
Which is a lie.
Yeah.
But then
sounds right.
we've been texting and we're gonna meet up for tacos and it's gonna be great.
So this is a potentially hot swap rules choice that I actually just popped into my head right now.
Hot swap.
Because I was
Hot
sitting
swap?
here thinking like, y'all got too much stability. Your stability scores are too high. Just rolling 8, 9 dice over here. Right?
I only have 7.
Only
I
like
got
5.
7.
So the 5 is good. I like that. But, I'm on this mission to like make the burning base will, like make that matter. So both your base will and your stability, because your stability is, it's part of your command stat, I think.
Sure is.
So, but your base will is your command plus your charm. And I think I don't know. I guess I'm gonna have to think about what to do with that. But I think if your base will is under your stability, there's
You have to make stability check.
there's just there's gonna be a penalty. So we'll figure that out. And look, as I said last time, I made 18 episodes of not changing any rules. So like, I did my best.
You said,
My
you know
base
what, at
will's
this-
always been under my stability.
Me too.
Yeah, if it's
Except for right now.
charm and command, then I shouldn't have 5 stability. I should have 7.
Yeah, it's supposed to be equal to your. No, it's just your base will is supposed to be charm and command.
Okay.
And
Right.
then if you have burned base will, it would be charm and command minus the number of times you've burned base will.
Yeah.
But your stability starts out equal to your command score, and then if you have trained points in it, then it would go
It
up.
can never be higher than your base will.
No.
Maybe.
No.
I might do that, honestly, because having a low base will has to mean something. And
I would argue it means a lot.
I know, right?
Anyway.
well,
I
right
only
now all
suggested
you
that 'cause
need
mine
is
is over.
all you need is more than 0 currently, as far as the system is concerned. And anyway, no one wants to hear this debate. So we have made it back to Green Lake in it was, I think, late fall at the time. You have had some opportunities to reintegrate, get back into your lives, do the things you're supposed to be doing. Let's have a little bit of a prep-a-log of how things are going before the episode. Let's say we've got a week or so after you come back. What have you been up to? What are you doing? What crimes have you fought? I would like everybody to mention one crime that you fighted, and just what else you've been up to. And we had a little bit of it in our epilogue last time, but in a prep-a-log, that'll give us somewhere to roll forward. So,
Is this the week before we get tacos?
well, I
This
mean,
would be
I think
after
tacos were
Post
happening.
tacos.
Yeah. You came back. There was a taco party at the lodge. What, Enge?
I think very visually,
Uh-huh.
and was just imagining all of the different kinds of taco bars that there could be.
So the the fact is, you're still part of the superhero team with Green Streak. He is trying to organize you all and herd these cats into some sort of organized fashion. That's part of what's happening. So the one interesting little note, it may be because of some of the people who died on the Scintillation's ship on the Rising Star. But when you get back, or it's either because of that or because he's been working really hard at it with Green Streak's tutelage, Klaus has leveled up a little bit and is able to recombine his selves, which is
Oh.
what a higher level multiple man can do. So that's that is notable. So there are still frequently many versions of him around the lodge, but they can recombine now. So it's worth noting.
Good job, Klaus.
Yeah. He's all grown up.
Well done, Klaus.
I mean, he was a grown man before, but
Now he's one grown man.
yes. Pooja, what has Sapna been up to?
I think. Okay. So Sapna had come back to stay at the lodge after having a really rough few hours at their apartment in Green Lake. I was like,
Oh, that's right. You're getting overwhelmed.
yeah, there's just a lot of, it turns out like people have a lot of technology
Yeah.
in Seattle. Who would have thunk it?
Yeah.
So they came to stay at the lodge and have been dealing with a combination like silence plus like low hum of technology at the lodge.
Yeah.
Because there's like so much silence in the world.
Yeah.
And yet the technology is still talking to them.
Yeah.
Constantly.
Well, if it helps, certainly people have Bluetooth on or whatever, and that you're going to hear some of that, and there's Wi-Fi at the lodge. But all of Dr. Light's projects are hardwired into whatever devices exist or into the internet connection because she's real paranoid about encrypted signals and whatnot.
Which is great because it was a brief, tense moment
Yeah.
where Sapna got banned from the downstairs.
Yep.
And then it was like until everyone figured out like what the actual kind of like more of the parameters.
Yeah.
And then it was like, oh no, you can come down again. It's like,
Yeah.
Because I think Hector would also interject and offer his help on how to like mitigate noise.
Yeah. I think those techniques are going to be really, really similar.
Yeah.
So in this week, is this a lot? This is like probably a week long of like, not meditation, but
of like,
practice.
yeah, like tutelage of like, you remember in high school
Mm-hmm.
when we were both getting tutored by, oh, what was that guy's name?
I mean, you were the one that was paying attention.
I mean, you say paying attention.
Like D equals diploma.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah. Except now you're the tutor.
Yeah, sorta. Yeah. I mean, it's just more like you're helping yourself on how to calm your own mind.
Where do you park your power armor? Are you just in it all the time?
Yeah.
We gotta clean that out, man.
No, he's just like anywhere, everywhere.
You smell like
No, I'm just kidding. I would assume that they would start. He would be like, "Hey, can we get like a hanger?
Hanger?
Yeah,
What do you need a hanger for?
more power armors."
Oh, well, I mean, you have one.
Yeah, but is it gonna go from place to
Preparing for the
place?
future.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Because really, Dr. Light wants to dismantle your power armor to figure
No.
out because it has like a tiny anti-grav drive in it and a power source that she doesn't understand. And she would really like to take it apart. Like, I'll help you build another one. But that's not always worked out for her.
You
So,
have the aesthetics you want.
Yeah, like, can't you get plans? Like how we got plans from here to there. Can't you get plans back?
well, yes, but it's a lot easier if I just work with the device itself.
I get that, but can't you get plans?
Look, the manufacturing process is complicated. Am I supposed to build a whole factory and a...
Look, if I break it, you can get the leftover parts.
Okay. Just saying we could probably make it better is all. That's almost always what happens when I work on something.
Almost.
Tell that to the 3 dozen AIs that you made.
Hey, look, those didn't. Look, I told you those didn't work. I admitted it. What am I supposed to do? Okay, so
Get the plans from scintillation.
yeah, so she's working on that. Primarily, she's trying to figure out the gravity drive thing because Dr. Light's flying car is one of those devices that only works for her, and she wasn't able to scale it up for production because she couldn't make it work for other people. So it's probably going to be related to that, and that she has a faux gravity drive in that that needs to be developed.
Is one of the laser guns on the power armor?
What do you mean?
Remember how they Hector was using the laser gun that wasn't like blowing up the walls or anything? Like, is that the kind of armament in it?
Yeah, I think that's. I don't know. I haven't really thought about it that much. We can build it out as a thing and put some points into it and see how it goes. I think what it has right now is a little bit unknown until you put some points into it. Or like, oh look, I figured out how to deploy this thing that's been in there the whole time.
Figured out how to get Cheez-Its.
Yep.
So I think having had that discussion about tutoring and mental control and veering into self-help territory, not that I don't think that you would make an amazing motivational speaker. I think that when we, like, the crime is one that we go solve together or combat together.
Yeah.
Because, like, it makes sense that the call would have come while we were having a session.
Yeah, I like that. What do you want it to be?
What do we want it to be? Nothing power armor related. Because I think Hector, just as a side thing, when him and Sapna aren't together, like, he's going around the community and finding people that are doing bad stuff and making them, like, telepathically, like, go turn yourself in.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so.
Go tell them what you did.
Yeah.
Please go to the principal's office and explain why.
Yeah. So something bigger.
Yeah, and I mean, those kinds of powers can be resisted.
Right.
It's not like it just always works.
Right.
So there's that too. Suddenly a lot more criminals are wearing tinfoil hats.
Yeah.
I kind of think it would be fun if we maybe tied it back into, like, rather than necessarily going out and, like, stopping petty crime, so we had gone to that high school and Chainsaw had given a talk there, and there was this girl who had, her power was a type of biokinesis, and she had made some brownies for her friends, and they had all turned into her during assembly.
Yep.
Because she licked the spoon.
Yeah.
And then put it back in the bowl. Licking the spoon is okay, just don't put it back in the bowl.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because then it turns out your DNA is
her DNA is quite sturdy. It survived the baking process, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's because it's constantly trying to replicate itself.
and then it asserted its dominance in her friends.
Yeah. They're like, oh, I can fix this situation. The problem is you're not me. That's that superpower, no joke, came about when speaking to a therapist, everyone should, by the way, it's a great idea. When I was much younger, I had a lot of, like, I don't know, stuff I was working through. One of the best pieces of advice I got was, you have to forgive other people for not being you.
But that's unforgivable.
And that's one of the things that led to coming up with that power in my mind.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. So anyway, that's
But I would love it if, like, that group of kids got into some kind of, like,
got in over their heads, maybe.
yeah,
Like they were gonna fight a crime, and
they were like, oh man, what was cool? It's like when Chainsaw came to talk to school, like we could totally do that that dude's old, so we would obviously be better at it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's totally like a Masks spin-off. Teen
Until I have a
Supers.
video of the green. What are we called?
What's that?
The superhero group name?
Oh, your team I don't think has a name.
Green Street.
Green Streaks.
No.
No. It was like the Green Street Hooligans or something.
Green Street Boys.
I
Green
can see them
Street's
watching
back.
like the Grease video in the background on their phones.
We did not establish a
I wrote it
super
down
name.
because
Did we?
we were talking. Well, I think we talked about it outside of game at some point.
Oh,
Okay, well, this will be it until we find something else.
Yeah, I don't recall what it was.
I didn't like it, so that's fine.
Yeah. Okay. And my notes won't open today, so we're just flying by the seat of my pants.
I got my notes.
Okay, great. It's a clearly organized pile of post-it notes for the listener. Okay, so let's say they track down.
something over their head, obviously. So
Yeah.
like some sort of like industrial waste type thing.
Oh,
Sure.
they decided that like those rumors have been going around post the Luchador show.
Yeah.
So there have been rumors about sludge and this new drug and whatever, and they
Mhm.
decided to go investigate it Scooby style.
Yep.
Except, unlike the Scooby Gang,
Yeah. They wound up in a warehouse full of bad guys.
Found themselves in a heap of trouble.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that.
Good boy.
That is really good. Oh,
oh, Steffi says it's Green Lake Guardians.
Thank
Green
you.
Lake Guardians. Yes, I do
Yeah, I knew it
remember
was
that, and I
something.
remember Enge not liking it.
But willing to go with it.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. But it's also okay to have an opinion. Okay, so that's fine. Yeah, there was. We know that arresting the daughter of Sludge, like she said, there was a bunch of stuff in motion already. So hopefully we're not surprised that stuff is still happening with
I'm surprised.
Sludge. So yeah, I think that is these kids found one of the distributors and dug in and somehow got word to y'all. Maybe
I think it'd be more interesting if
Snapchat.
Sapna intercepted it, trying to like localize the voices in her head
sure,
or in their head. That
Oh,
Yep.
yeah, I picked up a stray text message
sure,
or something.
maybe,
or maybe they were live streaming it.
sure. That actually sounds.
No, that
really
actually
good.
sounds really good. I
Yeah.
appreciate that idea so much.
Yeah, that's
The facepalm moment I just had is totally worth it.
Yeah.
that is great. So, okay, that's great. So we can fast forward to that.
Yeah.
Sarah, what do you imagine Caduceus / Kit has been up to this week?
Wow, I just put something in my mouth.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect timing. You know what? Of course, Kit's been up to their old habits of getting back to their job, doing work, etc. I think they go on like a PR stunt crime fighting thing with Perry.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
I had mentioned Perry was joining the lodge.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Perry definitely needs to be shown around. He's from I think, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
He's a part peregrine falcon, a body hero, can fly. He has the wings and arms arrangement, not the wings
Yeah.
as arms.
Pterodactyl situation.
Yeah.
Very good.
So yeah, that's pretty good. Although,
But it's also like head of a falcon.
yes, yeah, and uses sign language to speak because his mouth doesn't make human words anymore. So, yeah, so that's part of it.
Though,
Yeah.
I wonder what because we were talking about an assistive device last
Oh,
time.
yeah,
we
yeah.
had, to make it easier for him to communicate with people who didn't know sign language.
Yeah, Dr. Light has gloves for it that interprets his sign language movements. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's part of what's happening for him.
So I think that they literally call Rose up in the early stages of the week and they're like, hey, I get that I haven't been the best client. uh if you want to do one where I like look good and kiss babies, I can do that. And they go for it and they bring Perry along and
Kiss hands
it's
and shake babies.
it's a very low stakes. It's like, I don't know, maybe some kind of
Oh, look, a kitten is in the tree.
Yeah.
or like a bank robbery gone wrong, but
Shoplifters.
all the hostages have been taken out of the building, and so
Sure.
they just have to like go in, and they're
Yeah.
like, "Oh, they did it!"
I
you
love
know?
that.
Yeah.
I love that. Yeah, and it's something like Caduceus is there, and it is like something up high that's out of reach. You know, like somebody's on a roof or in a tree or
How
something
am
like
I
that.
gonna get up there?
Yeah, and then your friend Perry arrives.
Swooping in. Yeah.
Yeah. Don't know what his superhero name is. Probably just
Harry
Raptor.
isn't his superhero name.
I think maybe it is, or Peregrine, and everyone calls him Perry.
And it's
Yeah.
definitely not Birdman.
No,
Birdman.
Attorney
I'll
at
be
law.
Birdman. It's
Peregrine Birdman. Yeah, okay, that's good. That's a good run. A little publicity stunt makes Rose very happy because they have a real time managing you all. And Chainsaw.
Well,
Have you written any more letters to Austin, the person?
oh,
Dear
No.
City of Austin.
I really enjoy barbecue.
hmm no. Chainsaw's trying to replace that romantic feeling by going out with Rose.
Oh yeah.
And after a couple of times in some like minor probing conversations and it's just bouncing off her, like
Them.
or
yeah.
them, they
Yeah.
don't realize that he's even doing that. He's just feeling kind of empty in
Yeah.
this relationship and he's really missing that connection.
Yeah.
And ends up downloading Tinder
Sure.
and then hating it and deleting it and then downloads it again.
Okay.
Prize Hinge.
Yeah.
Which Rose would want to manage for you. Your Tinder or Hinge profile.
No.
No? Okay.
No.
That's invasive.
Yeah.
Well,
I've gotta-
not that they would try to take it over, but
Oh,
just
yeah,
like,
but that seems weird.
hey, you should have us manage that for you because it's complicated and you're going to have to deal with weirdos.
Well, I'm not doing it as Sentinel.
Yeah, but your face
Yeah.
is famous.
No, it's not. I have glasses when I'm a superhero. I have a secret
ridiculous.
identity.
And now that you have a 35-year-old face, it's even more famous because
That's
your
true.
previous identity as a very famous superhero.
Yeah.
Just get Frank on Raya. It's fine.
You know what? It's not even that. It's people see your face on Tinder profile and they're like, fake profile.
I think also he goes out with a couple people and they're like, you know, well, if my face is famous, they want to be there with Sentinel and
Oh,
not with Frank.
yeah.
That's the She-Hulk dating scene.
Yeah.
Mhm. And he's just having a really hard time connecting.
Well, now
and
hold
at
on,
some
hold
point,
on. I want to back up a little. Do you really want to establish the like lean into the secret identity thing? Maybe I wasn't clear on that.
we had a discussion about how
Okay.
when Frank has his sunglasses on, it's and like the jacket and the costume and everything.
Okay, and that was always the case, even as younger Sentinel.
Yeah.
You were okay. That's fine. I retract it. If you have a secret identity, you have a secret identity.
Yeah.
We haven't done anything to reveal that, so that's fine.
Yeah. So and then one night, while on a very bad date with somebody, he hears sirens
Just go think. Uh,
and just like throws some money on the table. He's like, "You're great. I gotta go," and like goes out and flips into his costume and has to basically get in the way of an armored truck and just smash
Sure.
it, and is so delighted with getting back into the work
Yeah.
to distract him, because at least that's something that he can love.
Yeah.
And also he gets to smash things.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
that feels good. Cathartic.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Well, I think I've got a pretty good idea of how the last little bit's been going. The lights are trying to establish more reliable transport back and forth. They're up to like, I think before they were like at 90% going from platform to platform. It pretty much works 90% of the time. They want to get it to like 99% before they start sending people places. But yeah,
The rainbow of lights.
a rainbow of lights. Yes.
Collective,
Um,
the collective
yeah.
noun for a group of Dr. Lights.
Yes. Yeah. We do have 8 of them now, so it's also enough for Hanukkah. That's great. It hadn't occurred to me until just now.
Festival of Lights.
Yeah, it is a festival of lights. I'm sorry.
Oh wait, it's the volley? No, that was
So-
last week.
Yeah, it's also a good one. Anyway, they are collectively trying to smooth out this problem, because it does seem like we're going to need to be able to shuttle back and forth a little bit. They're also having a big conversation about, like, all of the Rising Star knows now that there are alternate dimensions that can be pretty freely visited. And the rest of the Festival of Lights are deciding whether their populations, their Earths, should be told. One of them, who is... I need my list of lights. Does anyone remember what the space station light was called?
You mean scintillation?
No, there was a space station one separate from her.
Oh,
Where's my pinned
I have
messages?
to check the notes.
I have pinned messages here somewhere.
Dr. Ultra.
Ultra. Is it Ultra or Umbra?
It looks like I wrote Ultra because there is definitely a T in there. So,
Okay.
but I could have also heard wrong. These notes are not my most legible.
Oh, I see. I'm not. God, none of my stuff is connecting. Oh, because it's on airplane mode.
That'll do it.
it.
My phone's been on airplane mode all day, everybody.
Uh-oh.
So that's cool.
Interesting, because when you picked me up earlier, gave me your location, and then that location went away.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So
Mhm.
when I left the house, it shared it with you, and then cool. Good job, Mills. So Ultra / Umbra also mentions, however, that they're not on Earth, and that it turns out Earth is quite a long ways from where she is, and they live on a space station that revolves around a tiny black hole, and it's a little research kind of outpost, and that it is they are like light years away from Earth. So for her to reveal it to the local population is like, a couple million people, right?
Don't
Like,
damn.
It's like
Yeah.
sock puppets.
yeah. I mean, it's not a tiny station, right?
Mhm.
It's like a 300 miles around, so it's a pretty big like station. But it and if anyone followed the drop, it's this spoiler. She just is describing the drop.
Thinking about an episode of Doctor Who.
Sure. So it is. However, I want to leave it to my players whether our world should be informed or not, and I think it's time we decide, because a lot has happened, and if we don't want to say, I think that is deciding we pretty much just want to keep it a secret, which is fine. I don't mind either way. I've got story ideas for either direction, but I want to know what you all prefer as a story beat. Is it fun to have it be revealed and you all are the guardians of the multiverse, or is it a secret organization that only a handful of people know about in this world?
Well, I know that Sapna is going to vote for secret,
Okay.
Hector's gonna co-sign.
especially as like the
Well, your player has a vote and your character has a vote. Okay. And I understand they may not be the same thing, right? Sometimes we want bad things to happen to our characters because we're bad people.
wait a minute.
Who would do that?
It's
Oh,
hard
wait,
to
I'm not
imagine.
supposed to keep nodding. Damn it.
I was
Gotcha.
like, had me in the first half.
Yeah. So, Pooja / Sapna, what are your votes?
Sapna votes for secret, and Pooja is intrigued by the idea that it's not like it is the of going the like select few kind of route, and it ends up being like this responsibility that gets put on our group that they may or may not want.
Uh-huh. Okay.
I'm not sure I'm as interested in like a worldwide phenomena kind of storyline.
Okay.
Not that I would be against it, just
Okay.
more
Is that-
interested in the other one.
One for secret and one abstain?
Sorry. Okay. Character secret,
Yeah.
player limited knowledge.
Oh, okay. So I need a middle limit. Okay.
Oh, I
Okay.
didn't realize it was a binary choice.
Yeah. Well, in my mind it was, but I can see how it wouldn't be. So that's okay. Sarah, what are your thoughts?
Ugh. Okay. Okay. This is such a hard choice for me, and I don't know why. I feel like for Kit, they would go back and forth a lot in terms of, on the one hand, they were the discoverer of a large secret in a world, and when it got out, there were a lot of terrible ramifications.
Yeah,
People
everything's fine now, though.
replicating it unsafely, people saying, why aren't you helping more people? Why aren't you doing this, etc. And they can see that happening with the knowledge of the multiverse. But on the other side, they are in a lot of ways of the opinion that secrets will out, as it were.
Mm.
And so are we do we deserve to be the arbiters of this secret? And if we keep it, what will it look like when it finally comes out? You know, like what will it be like? What will the optics be? So I think Kit's vote is that it needs to be said, but it needs to be said very, very carefully.
Yeah,
And
so I
with a
think
lot of strategy behind it.
this middle option of limited knowledge might be
Yeah.
like, let's inform heads of governments and other like like other super teams.
Let's Area
and stuff.
51 this shit. you
Yeah,
know?
yeah. So I'm considering that the like limited option.
Especially the idea that like other Pinnacle teams would be informed,
Yeah.
I find really interesting.
Okay.
Yes.
Now that you have said it out loud.
Okay. So that's part of the limited category then. So that was Kit is for limited, right?
Yes.
And what about Sarah?
Technically, as a player, I'm like, this is our knowledge, baby. But I do like the idea of other Pinnacles knowing. So I think
Okay.
we're of one accord.
Okay. Cool. Eli.
Secret for Hector, and I think slow roll for the world.
Okay. So
Limited.
limited. Got it. Okay.
Limited.
For both.
Yeah. Chainsaw is definitely like we should let certain people know.
Okay.
And like Enge, like, I don't care. Do whatever's fun and the most
Okay.
dramatic.
That's where
Well, that's what I'm asking is what will be the most fun and dramatic for you, right?
Mhm.
And we'll go with that. But limited is winning out here, so I
Because
think
I
we
think
will.
like Eli, the player, in my mind, whatever process is thinking like, well, if we have it, the bad guys have it, sort of a thing. Like,
Mhm.
there's already been pulses of energy, stuff like that. Like, they have super brilliant people too. You know, it's like it's just a matter of time. Like, no matter what Hector wants.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
tend to agree. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that was, and to be clear, when we were keeping the brainstem thing a secret, and there were things happening in the background that you all weren't aware of. You know,
Mhm.
Rise Corp showed up because some shit happened, and you know, it's not entirely in your control. So.
Which also like brings up the fun moral quandary of like, okay, we are keeping this knowledge very limited, very secret. And in a way, like not informing people that there is, I mean, a seriously outside possibility that their alternate will come attempting to murder them.
Yeah.
Or they might go and try to attempt to murder their alternates.
Yeah.
That's definitely a concern that I have.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully, if people weren't already murderers, that they're not going to become a murderer unless you're sort of justifying it like, well, that person is a violent criminal and they speak in the theater. So that's.
That one's the worst.
I mean, can't. I
Damn
mean,
theater
But the other,
speakers.
is this for just our world or all the Doctor's lights?
Well, this is for your world, right? The other lights are deciding for themselves of what their world is going to know.
Because Hector would not. I think he almost would about face to say like, look, if they're telling, if even one Doctor's light tells their entire place, hey, you can go wherever you want to go.
Well, they're not saying that. They're saying the multiverse exists, and you know, some people are able to traverse. So that would be the story that they're giving out. They're not asking people to line up and buy a ticket through their teleporter.
I don't know if anyone's seen the movie
mean,
The
not yet.
One here or anything like that, but you know, like
What's that?
highly regulated multiversal hopping.
I've seen the second.
Yeah.
No.
never gonna live that down in my entire life.
And, you know, we do need people to watch over the timelines or whatever it is.
Would be burdened with glorious purpose.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. Has everyone here finished Loki?
Yep.
Nope. Okay, never mind.
If you want to make references or whatever, it's fine. I don't mind spoilers. Oftentimes I'll just forget them within 10 minutes.
Okay, so all I'm gonna say is, without explaining, let's not expand anymore. But all the question I have that a student raised to me this week is that why the time stone is green?
Mm-hmm.
And it blew my mind.
Yeah,
So
it was super good.
yeah. Okay. So anyway, so it sounds like our team is going to roll it out to limited, like heads of state and Pinnacles.
Yeah, we definitely need to be more than just government, military.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I also think too, like just Eli as a player is like, I think whether or not we decide to roll it out, it's already rolled out.
Oh yeah. I mean, look, I've got what's happening in the world.
Okay.
there's shit going on, but I'm curious what you all would enjoy the most. So it is somewhat flexible on that front. So,
Hey.
Sarah, what were you saying?
Tight.
Oh, okay.
Tight.
So yeah, a superhero security council, something like that. Chat mentioned that's a good idea.
Without, you know, the ability of like random one parties to just veto entire motions that the rest of the world is for.
Okay.
Here, here.
Yeah. So Green Streak invites a bunch of people to the lodge, and Pinnacles from around the world show up they don't bring their whole teams with them, but it's like, okay, yeah, Green Streak has, spent the last 6 months, building this new Pinnacle team, and it's done
Come
a
have
lot.
tacos.
Yeah. And then he's, having a celebration at the lodge to say, yeah, or no, actually, it's probably not at the lodge because the lodge is sort of a secret base.
It's sort of a bat cave.
Yeah, except for all the kids who are going to come for summer camp, but that doesn't matter when you're writing a comic book. However, we're going to have it in a downtown, like, penthouse with a roof access because, a lot of people fly and it's just easy to get in and out that way.
How else would the dragons land?
Yes, yes. Are there dragons?
I feel like at least one of the body people has to be a dragon.
Maybe.
Like, I mean, come on.
Yeah, okay. Cool.
There's a whole universe where everyone is dragons, and
Yeah.
Dr. Light is also a dragon.
Yes. Dragon Light.
We'll get there. That's actually a game I'm working on, but it's irrelevant right now. So
Irrelevant but cool.
Demi dragons.
what?
Demi dragons.
Okay, so I don't know how much we don't need to delve into this party a whole bunch, but suffice to say, there's a party, and during the party, so it's a big shindig. There's lots of press and everything, but during that, or like towards the end of it, or actually probably before everything really kicks off, the Green Streak invites everybody downstairs because this has got to be the Stem and Thorn building, right? So invites the heads, the other Pinnacles, to a meeting room and says, okay, well, I have to explain something, and goes into an explanation of how the multiverse is real. And, several people are like, oh, yeah, it kind of seemed something like that was happening. Other people are like, blows their hair back and they're like, what? So we have to do some demonstrations to prove that this is true.
They didn't buy just like a billion Dr. Lights just like yelling at him.
Well, that could be faked, So they bring the platform to the party and are, sending oranges back and forth. And probably some guy insists on being sent. They're like, oh, you got to prove to me that that's not just an orange generator. And
Dr. Light's like, hop on. What are you scared of?
yeah,
Go ahead.
I think
Get on
that's
there.
probably what she would do. And I'm just going to check my 10% rule here.
I was like, and do they end up at top of Great Lake?
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Just rolled 95.
I'm glad the dice aren't aimed at us right now.
Turned inside out. And then he exploded.
Oh boy. Yeah.
What was that noise?
So somebody gets sent to oh gosh, I was not prepared for this at all. I'm gonna say the Kraken, who's a woman who protects a lot of coastlines, like in the Mediterranean, and
Is this the same person who got mad that we went after? The
yeah,
machinist?
probably, yeah. It was a little miffed, but she turns into like a 40-foot, like Kraken Godzilla kind of thing, so
Hell yeah.
and it's I can't believe I rolled a 95. Stupid dice. I wasn't ready. So she is one of the ones who's like, all right, you need to show me that this works. Because, she was belligerent before. She's just a belligerent person. And steps onto the transporter. The Dr. Lights all are like, okay, let's make sure this really goes correctly. And
Oh, that's not what happened.
No, it's not. I
That
think
craven scruple. When you think too precisely on the event, I'm so sorry. I
that
will
was
not quote
good.
Shakespeare again.
That was good. Um, maybe is there a Karen Kraken mashup?
Crankin?
Cranking.
Kra- Kraken,
Yeah.
Gherkin.
That's a pickle.
Yeah. All right. So, yeah, the Kraken is sent to, I think, she just ends up going to the wrong. She ends up going to the Rising Star, and ends up in the middle of the Rising Star, like freaks out and turns into a Kraken. I mean, she's only 40 feet tall, right? There's plenty of room, and but she's in 0G and is like trying to get
Zero G
somewhere.
Kraken.
And like has like managed to restrain the like lightning breath that she can do, and all that kind of stuff. But has a whole freak out moment. However, she has obliterated Scintillation's teleport pad, and so that has to be rebuilt, and so she can't be sent home immediately because she showed up and changed, and right, so like a whole bunch of like lab material is busted, but it was kind of floating out in the open air in case something bad happened. And guess what? Something bad happened. So she is unfortunately stuck on the Rising Star for a little while.
Dr. Light looks up. Who's next?
Yeah, and Greenstreak actually turns to everyone and says, so as I mentioned, the process isn't perfected, but the multiverse is real. And it is something we have to prepare for. And it's like everybody else in the meeting sits up straighter, is like, right, okay, I'm taking notes and listening very carefully to what is happening now.
I would think our group would definitely get a mind text from Hector that just says LOL.
Yeah, for sure.
Lols.
Yeah. Though it's going to miss Karen for a little while. It's fine. So, I'm going to say she was Italian. An Italian Karen. I don't know why. Mediterranean just seems like that's the spot. Bless you.
Gesundheit.
Thank you.
You sneezed into my shoulder.
It's so intimate.
Oh,
You could never wash that shoulder now. Just in case anyone listening is confused, chat was mentioning some confusion. Scintillation is the AI on the Rising Star, which is a spaceship that is the size of a space station. There's 40 million people living on there. It's actually bigger than Dropner Station, that is stationed around a black hole. The Rising Star is just a free traveling space station essentially, and they go around and explore the universe in their home. Whereas the Dropner Station, the Drop, is stationary. It was originally set up to study this tiny black hole that defies explanation, and that is the difference there. And so Dr. Ultra or Umbra, I can't remember. I think Ultra is at Dropner Station, and Scintillation is on the Rising Star, which is a space station, but not the Drop. So sorry if that was confusing. All right. So as that information is relayed to all these different heads of teams, then there's a big shindig on the roof that is has press, and there's like helicopters taking footage. It's a whole public event thing. Should I assume that is something neither Sapna nor Silent Scream would show up for?
I think that
I mean, go upstairs. I assume you were at the building.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, because I think that was the compromise.
Okay.
Like, they didn't want to come at all. They don't want to be back in Seattle unless they absolutely have to be.
Yeah.
And the compromise is like, okay, you can be
And then
like
Rose
adjacent
turned
to
on
the
their
meeting room.
Rose turned on their 1,000-watt smile. I'm like, but please, for me.
Oh, puppy dog eyes.
Um,
I can't resist the puppy dog.
they know how to
eyes.
get what they want.
Mhm.
Okay, so you're at the offices, but not up on the roof in the roof party. Okay. Kit or Caduceus, is either one of them attending the party?
Of course, I'm Caduceus now.
Okay, cool. And does Caduceus have a +1 at the party? Or 2?
Yes, my many, many women. So sorry.
Ladies.
Good question. Because here's the thing. Oh, okay. No,
Okay.
because specifically this sparked a conversation that has not been finished yet, where Caduceus and Heather were like Kit and Heather are dating.
Yes.
Are Caduceus and Heather dating? Like, is that something that we want to communicate publicly? Is that, because that's complicated.
Sure.
And we had like half of the conversation, it did not get resolved, and then Caduceus came to this.
Oh, and actually, that would probably inhibit your secret identity a little bit,
Exactly,
or like
yeah.
greatly impinge on your ability to keep that secret.
Yeah, so part of the conversation was like, well, do you wear a mask? Like, what do we? And it's like,
Right,
it's a whole
right.
thing. Yeah, so no, it's just Caduceus.
Okay. All right.
May I also introduce an aspect to this conversation, and feel free to veto it?
Please.
That Heather is pushing a little bit to go because she wants to be
Part of your world. Sorry.
like, she wants to be more part of the superhero side of things.
Yeah, yeah.
And whether that's, actually doing superhero stuff, or meeting a bunch of famous superheroes, or just like spending more time with you, like, that's up in the air. But like, I just like that little tension of like, you have this whole separate life from me and I don't want you to.
Yeah, maybe that's like part of the conversation that makes it a little uncomfortable, is that she's like, well, I feel like I should go. And
Yeah.
Kit's like, 5 minutes,
And-
I have to go.
And I think Heather is even saying, I will come up with a costume,
Mhm.
right? I will do this like leaf and vine costume and be, poison
Maybe
ivy
you
or
could change
whatever.
my face.
Right. If you loved me, you would change my face.
I'm vetoing that one.
No. I mean, that was a bad joke.
No. It's a good joke, though.
But yeah, I think that's the conversation. Is like, I will come up with a secret identity, and that can be Caduceus's girlfriend. But maybe it's like too last minute. A kid isn't ready to like make that decision, or
I think it's really last minute, and I do think that there's also a part of Kit that likes to keep their like superhero life and real life separate.
Yeah.
And this is one of those like parts that has been able to be kept pretty separate, and they don't know how to express that without sounding like an absolute asshole. So they don't. And
you don't want to tell her like, you could be the vine because you're clingy.
Whoa.
Perfect.
Wow.
Perfect.
because you're perfect in 15-second intervals.
And it has nothing to do
Yeah.
with introducing Heather to more and more Sapna type.
Yeah. Okay, so Hector.
He would go as El Vagabundo, and I think
And who has famously acquired power armor,
who
right?
still has not presented the power armor anywhere.
Oh, okay. So there's power armor Hector, and there's El Vagabundo. So you
no,
now
there's
choose.
Hector and El Vagabundo. Power armor is still in the hangar.
Oh, okay, okay. Got it.
He's using that for like a trump card in case.
Okay, but it
Break
has not
glass.
been debuted.
Right.
Okay.
And I think Rosalinda will be there as catering because she needs to have a job during college.
Okay. Got it. So you got Rosalinda a job with Stem and Thorn,
No, she's just there as like as a part of the business.
just as a coincidence.
Yeah.
I love that because it's comic books.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. Good. Remind me, I have something disturbing to tell you in a second.
Okay. Second.
Chainsaw.
Oh,
Chainsaw is there amongst all these people, very popular and feeling so fucking alone and lonely, and gets away from the party at some point just to.
How would it be if a Pinnacle there was, because you're Sentinel now, right? That's
Mhm.
and you would attend the party as Sentinel.
with your glasses on.
What,
course.
Yeah. No, look, I accept that there's a secret identity, right? And it's not just a silly Clark Kent thing. That's fine. But what if a Pinnacle was hitting on Sentinel?
I mean, sure.
Okay. All right. Because I feel like that complicates things in a really horrible way. Potentially. Not necessarily horrible. Maybe it's awesome. But I like the idea.
Sounds like a great role-playing experience.
Yeah, I like keeping you there at the party if that's okay. Unless we're having a moment where like Sentinel is like, oh, everything sucks and I'm gonna go be by myself. That's
Well,
okay, too.
yeah, but I can also be alone at a party.
Okay.
So.
Yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
However you want to do it, it's fine. But I was planning on adding that complication unless you don't want to go there.
That's fine.
I do think that El Vagamundo is like Snake Eyes.
In what way?
He's quiet.
Okay.
And then every once in a while, somebody will get like a hey, blah, 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 in their mind.
Okay.
So, like, I think something I don't think I've said before was like, he doesn't talk to the press. The press just knows what his story is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
That's kind of great.
It's like knock, knock, knock. Incoming.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like there have been, Rose has said there's a stack of waivers that the press have had to sign. I'm like, yes, we agree to psychic
Yeah.
communications and blah, blah, blah. Yeah. That's fine. I like that. Speaking of psychic communications,
No.
you hear, you used the power armor quite a bit, and it has a like limited AI in it, right? And it's been, well, let's see, you came back, used it for a little while, realized it's kind of awkward, and parked it until you can practice more with it.
Mm-hmm.
Parked it in a hangar at the lodge, right? I think he just has like a 6-car garage or something, right? It's not like a.
I could see like really nice Corvette, really nice Porsche, mech suit, power armor,
Yeah.
Ferrari, whatever.
Yeah, because I'm sure Green Streak likes fast cars. That just seems obvious to me. Motorcycles, cars, just like loves to go fast, especially when he doesn't have to skate fast. He can just like hop in a car and, his reaction time is just way jacked up. So
Yeah,
it's
I
like,
was thinking because if he has that time slowdown
Yeah.
thing, then he could drive at maximum speed and still.
yeah, his perception is just so jacked up. But yeah, it's parked in there, and you hear telepathically that same helmet voice. Does it sound like scintillation at all? What
It
do
was
you want?
Keith David, wasn't it?
Keith David.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, Keith David. Yeah. So you hear that it's not obviously Keith David, but sounds is thematically similar yet legally distinct from Keith David's voice, and you hear that, but telepathically, and you know the difference, right? Like you're a very skilled telepath. You hear that voice in your mind saying, "It's dark in here. I don't like the dark.
he'll I guess is Sapna in range?
Yeah. Something's
I'm
at
like
the
literally
party.
just a few floors down.
Okay.
I've co-opted like a couple of plates of hors d'oeuvres from the caterer.
Oh, you're like sitting with the caterers, like in the caterer's break room.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like close enough to technically have checked the I showed up box.
Yes. I mean, look,
Contractual agreement.
Rhodes
made.
knows what they're getting, right? They like you showed up, you did the thing they asked you to do. That like, there's no confusion there, right? But anyway, Hector.
I'm getting a link from the power armor suit that I've never had before.
Will you turn on the light, please?
It seems like it's in a dark room. And he starts to think like, does the garage have lights on?
Not usually. Not if no one's in there.
I mean, well, I guess we can test it. And I text Klaus
Mhm.
and say, hey, do you mind turning on the lights in the garage real quick?
He texts back right away. He's like, "Oh yeah, no problem. I'll send someone up there." And within a few minutes, the voice says, "Oh, thank you. That's much better."
Can I get your name?
You haven't given me one, Father. No.
Oh, wow. That's,
Have you thought about your own name?
No, I wouldn't know where to start.
He's trying to like do a Rolodex of cool movies.
Mm.
Let's just call you Bill for now.
Okay. I'm Bill.
So are you meant to do this?
I apologize. This behavior is outside of my standard parameters.
Well, sort of at this party thing. Do you need anything like any oil?
No, it just turns out I don't like sitting in the dark.
All right, well, we'll leave the lights on. And when I get back, we'll figure out a way for you to control the lights.
Okay, thank you. I'm gonna shut down now.
All right. Do you want us to keep the lights on?
Yes, please.
All right. I'll be home soon.
Okay.
Don't you dare. No.
What?
my heart.
A little guy. You can't give us a little guy on break.
Hector got his own
Done
murder
so
bot.
I
well.
hope nothing happens to it.
Ugh.
We just got this little guy today. If anything happens to it,
He doesn't like the dark.
So, during the party, we had a couple little updates from Rose about how the Kraken is doing on the Rising Star, and she's got her power under control, and she's like, sitting at the main lab that Scintillation uses with the like trying to assemble a new teleportation pad and blah blah blah. There's some manufacturing required that it's going to take a few days to get her back. But the
I like
what?
the idea that Simulation gave her a gift basket,
Sure.
like like we had gotten when we were in the suite.
Yeah, it's a visitor's. Yeah, like welcome to the Rising Star. There's a whole thing that they do.
Crack it
Also,
themed.
maybe this is nosy, but who is the pinnacle that is flirting with Frank?
Oh yeah, that is something we should know, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. I forget. Is Frank bi?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I was thinking of this dude. I okay. So the first thing that came to mind is not. Have you seen The Incredibles?
Yeah.
Okay, you know the Underminer. It's not that.
A mole man?
Yeah, it's so some people call him.
Frank ain't flirting with no mole man.
No. He is called the Mole Man because he can dive in and out of Earth, right?
Okay.
Of like soil or like he can get through concrete fairly easily too, but he's basically like a earthbender, you know? But he's famously like at pinnacle level, it means like he's, you know, slapping people with stone hands and, you know, has a whole elemental form and just is, you know, hugely powerful. And is fairly big. Let's go like well, I could do bad Russian, so let's
So it definitely shouldn't be one of Kapakasha's relatives.
wait, who's that?
So in the original group, there was like the character I was playing was an earthbender.
Oh, right.
Oh.
Maybe that's even better.
Mm.
Yeah, okay. So not Russian.
I had this is not who the character has to be, but I had a character who once dated an Earth Genasi who was kind of an earthbender, and now I'm furiously texting my friend for the character art of them.
Oh, good. Yeah, I want that.
There we go.
But yeah, do we know Kabakash's family name or anything?
Rude.
Or if you want to come up with one?
So let's say that, or let's go with the standby Gupta.
Gupta, okay.
Sorry, I have to look them up because like the ones that come to mind are all like my friends and relatives, and I just
Sure.
can't.
Mhm,
It's like too
mhm.
weird to cross
Yeah.
the streams.
No, I get it. So the last name is Gupta. We'll come up with some details, but I think he also uses a pretty strict secret identity. Wow, that was hard to pull out of my brain. You know, I think of the relation to Kabakash from your days as Alpha Sentinel, but you know, kind of a distant, not distant, but a family relation, and you've probably followed the career a little bit, so it wouldn't be a total stranger. He wouldn't be a total stranger to you when he, you know, comes over to chat up. Sentinel, former Alpha Sentinel, you know, he seems, well, I was about to say he seems about your age because he seems like, you know, 45-ish, but you actually are 35 now. I mean,
Well,
your
I
age
am
is your
45,
age
but-
mentally. Yeah. But
but I just look really hot.
yeah, and so does he. He's,
Mhm.
you know, he's but we'll have to come up with some details because all of this is right off the cuff. But you know, he is excited to run into you, and also like he met you probably 20 years ago, right? And when you were both a lot younger,
Mhm.
and he didn't want to get involved with the government program and wanted to stay independent, but then you all kind of went off and did your own things. And what's that?
But now he's zaddy.
Yeah, for real.
Mhm.
Like an aged up Dave Patel. Like an aged up Dev Patel.
Yeah, that's great. So, yeah, that's happening, and we'll see where that goes when I know more about this character. So at least 3 times. This is the 3rd time it's happened today. I keep thinking, oh, Sarah has stepped out to the bathroom.
Keep trying to like.
I gotta piss.
If you're just listening, and Sarah has joined us via Zoom today,
Yes.
and so their seat is empty, but they're here on the monitor. So I'm,
It is a true mind.
It's what we call technical wizardry
yeah,
in
yeah,
the internet world.
yeah. This is gonna be Sapna's new hero name. Technical wizardry.
Good.
Technically a wizard.
Technosard.
So thank you, Chad. All right, so this is happening at the party. He's like real interested in what you've been up to, and coming back and joining Green Streak's team. He like loves that you're doing the like independent heroing thing, right? And like wants to talk to you about how that's going for you, and how you got repped by Stem and Thorn. Like maybe he's looking for a new representation. Because let's see, he's probably like an East Coast hero, right? So maybe not out of New York, but maybe let's say he's a DC hero. Is that,
Sure.
Yeah. That the Washington DC, not DC Comics.
Oh,
Right. Never occurred to me.
Why not both?
Because I don't like DC Comics.
Okay.
So the all right, that's happening. You've had a brief conversation with your power armor in your head. Sapna is stealing bites and probably chit-chatting with the workers as Sapna, right?
Mhm.
Not as Silent Scream, stuffing food under your mask.
It's like terrifying mask, and they're like, here's some more hors d'oeuvres. Ah!
And I want to know what are the cameras getting for Caduceus in this situation?
Oh, there are cameras?
Oh yeah, there's helicopters. The press is allowed to be there via helicopter. They're not allowed to be there on foot. So
Okay.
yeah.
I think Caduceus was like awkwardly in the corner of the room for approximately 5 minutes because he's not like, it's not that he doesn't want to be in there, but he doesn't really know how to initiate being in the room as a superhero. And then somebody that he does not know is like, oh, I have a question for you. And then like 10 minutes later, he's just like surrounded by other superheroes, and they're
Yeah.
all like having this animated conversation about something that Caduceus feels very strongly about.
Yeah. And everybody
yeah.
is artfully and pointedly steering around the idea of what you can do to brainstems, because that's
Yes.
public knowledge now.
Mhm.
So yeah.
There's something, I feel like there's a possibility that a lot of superheroes are meatheads, right?
Yes. Yeah.
But there's also a possibility, because we live in a world of supers, that there are a lot of superheroes who are also nerds about superheroes in the way Caduceus is.
Sure.
And so they're having some heated argument about superhero canon, you
Sure.
know?
Yeah. About like real superheroes or comic books from before 20 years ago.
Real superheroes.
Okay.
Like
okay.
a superhero group from like 20 years ago who something happened with
Is it
them,
something the
and
Mechanist
everyone's
did?
like, yeah, everyone's arguing about the mechanics of how things happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah. Okay. I like
I
that.
had this primary source that says this, actually.
Yeah. Like, well, I know Alpha Sentinel and he was there, so
Oh, do you know Alpha Sentinel?
Self-hatred.
oh, sorry, Alpha
Oh.
Patriot, thank you.
That's how you know they're a fake fan.
That's right.
Oh,
Big
damn.
fan. Okay, that's good. And in let's see. I think how are we going to do this? Would all of you have your like communicators in your ear at this party? Maybe, maybe not. I'm actually kind of, I don't know. I'm 50-50. You tell me.
I think I tend to be a little paranoid about that sort of thing. It's like all these superheroes, on one hand, who would be dumb enough? On the other hand, better. It's also attractive to a lot of troublemakers.
Yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's a party, but it's also like a work event, right?
Yes.
'Cause
Yeah.
it would make sense that we have our communicators in terms of like, oops, somebody's being weird about the multiverse. Somebody's trying to fight someone, you know.
Whoa.
But I'm also,
And this
if
is
you want to
when-
have some shit with us not being able to access our communicators, I fully think it's in character for Caduceus to be getting really into this conversation and just like takes it out so that he can focus.
Yeah,
and
like-
just,
like
shoves
drape
it in a pocket.
on the little like curly thing, like just hang it on the edge of the ear for a second.
Yeah.
Okay. So there is kind of a protocol to politely get in touch with everyone, and there's an emergency protocol. Not that it like into your ear, but there is like a cut in that either Dr. Light or Green Street can do to say like I need everybody up here right now, and that's what happens. So Dr. Light says, I need everyone to come down to the demo lab, which is where you had everybody earlier. I need everyone down to the demo lab right now. We just lost contact with Green.
Oh. And that's at the.
No, it's just downstairs. It's
Okay.
it was like they had they had brought their transporter plate here, right, to be able to demo everything, and Dr. Light has probably just stayed downstairs because she would rather work on stuff than be at a party. It's not relatable at all, but also there were no cats at the party. I mean, there's that one like cat guy, but you know.
That's not actually part of his power. It's just the look.
He just, yeah, it's a choice. So
Got a Josie and the Pussycats thing going on. I think it's cute.
yeah, sure. So I assume everybody rushes downstairs.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
I respect your vision, but the sun is not a reliable source. And then sees Hector go and is like, oh shit.
Yeah.
I would think Kit would get like a mind.
Oh yeah, you just cut in telepathically.
Yeah, like Doc, we gotta go. Like, we get
Yeah.
it.
Emergency.
You're right.
Yeah. Okay. So y'all rush downstairs. Green Streak's already there. Shock. He beat you.
So say, how funny would it have been for all these superheroes to be hanging out, partying on top of this building, and E. Brian's like, I found. Oh shit.
Or, I hadn't thought of that. Huh, that's fun. Okay. Anyway, you get called downstairs, and in Rose's, I think this was set up in the conference room on that like penthouse level of the Stem and Thorn building, and there is a big like holographic screen set up with all of the Dr. Lights, and there's just like a blank rectangle where Dr. Green is supposed to be. And again, this is the one we thought maybe you were visiting last time. Didn't happen that way. We also know, I think Green is
In the treehouse.
Yeah, it's in the treehouse, but I'm thinking her world, I don't think everyone had superpowers, right? It was like I think it was like our comic book version of like some people have superpowers. Maybe some people can, like, it's just so low level. It didn't, I'm just going to say that's the case unless there's something to contradict
That's
it.
fine.
So in the Green universe, some people have superpowers. Thousands of people have superpowers, but not everybody in the world, right? So anyway, her screen went dead, and everyone is like all the Dr. Lights are talking, and also so they're all talking at once, and Dr. Light is like alternately speaking to like she's clearly listening to like 6 conversations at once and processing. And you get there, and Green Streak is like, I don't know what's happening either. But he, walks over to the workstation that she has set up, and everybody stops talking. And Dr. Light says, okay, well, we lost contact with Dr. Green. It's not clear why. She didn't have some sort of emergency broadcast and disappeared. She just disappeared mid-sentence. And what we have sent smiley face oranges, and we haven't gotten anything back. We don't know what this means. So.
No, that seems bad.
Mm-hmm.
And one of them, let's say Dr. Montoya, says, I think we should send somebody over there. Somebody needs to go and check.
Well,
And
before
then-
we do that, did anything happen before the screen cut out? Did you see anything strange?
Not that we recorded. She was mid-conversation about something totally unrelated. We've all been weighing all sorts of theories back and forth. We're all working on multiple projects at once here. But there didn't seem to be any sort of emergency. We were just in our regular flow, and her feed cut off.
It's interesting. That's where Citadel was from.
Hmm?
I mean, I think it
So how do we get
pains me
back
to
if we
say
go?
this, but if we go, we run the risk of not being able to get back if Green's teleporter was destroyed.
Yeah, you certainly wouldn't get back right away. Probably just have to fix it.
If we can fix it, I mean, no telling what sort of damage happened to stop the signal anyways. It could be nothing left.
So now you still have the multiversal communicator, right?
Mm-hmm.
Fuck.
But if they can't access Green via if we go, we'll be able to talk to here,
Right.
Yeah.
but there's nothing the communicator could do to try to discern anything about there because light stuff all works on the same principles.
Right. But if we have somebody there, you might be able to rebuild or turn things back on. It could just be a case that she can't just lose power. She has all these backups. So but it could be something relatively straightforward. And
Well, on the plus side.
yeah.
On the plus side, we won't have any evil chainsaw to deal with. We know that for a fact.
True.
Not
Or
that
evil
evil
something
chainsaw.
else that's already there, right? Like,
Except I need you to roll stability. What's your stability score?
9 dice,
And what's your base will?
currently 8.
You have 8 base will? Okay, only roll 8 dice, please.
That's not bad.
rude.
Once again, do I need to multi-action with my stability roll?
No, but I do need 6s or better.
Yeah, I got 9s.
Okay, great. So as you're considering this problem, the fact that you have a device that can reach across dimensions, just like Dr. Lights can, it occurs to you that with those specific coordinates, like the Dr. Lights have a way of, it's similar to radio frequencies, and it's the thing you sort of like tripped onto to find Ebrian. You might actually be able to extend your perception to just see, like, does that universe still exist?
Oh, that's awesome. I'm
So-
definitely going to try to do that then.
Okay, so then I'm going to have you roll your power. I'm going to put you at a -3 difficulty. No, not a minus. Let's do, you need 7s.
Okay, because I was like, at that point, then there's
Yeah,
actually kind of no
I
point
really
in
like the
doing it.
minimum requirement better than penalty dice. Penalty dice, I think, should be situational. Like, you're trapped under a building, you know?
Mhm.
Like, but nothing is stopping you from doing this task. It's just a very difficult task.
I think I don't know if this coincides, but Hector would suggest that, like, is there a way for you to see what Dr. Green's machine can see through the multiverse? Like, I can see through somebody's eyes.
If I can get it to connect.
Yeah, and I think that's
Okay.
a great suggestion, and that's basically what you're trying to do.
Mhm.
So, what'd you roll?
I haven't yet.
Oh, yeah, okay.
I was looking at my dice pool. So 1, 2, 4. You know what? This feels like a time where I'm going to
Burn all your will.
myself up. Well, at least this time, because this is just a perception thing, I don't burn will just for using the power, which is what the problem was last time. I got a pair of 10s.
Oh, well, gain a willpower, please. And you force ghost your way into the green dimension, which still exists.
That's good.
But you find Dr. Green is unmoving, trapped under some rubble, and the building is open to the sky. Her like, sorry, it's not rubble because she lives in a treehouse, but it's like beams, right? Like all this stuff is like, it's like the top of her house
Tree
just
rubble.
like collapsed in.
Rubble.
And there's like stuff is burning because it's a tree, and there's a bunch of stuff going on. Can't really see out because the walls are still up. It's just like the ceiling just just imploded with great force, not just fell in. And the equipment is like crushed all over the place, and Dr. Light is trapped under something you can't really tell because also you can't interact with anything physically.
Yeah, this is just like me, what I can see and hear.
Yeah.
Smell?
No.
Okay, I'm gonna pull myself back and relay, like, something blew through her roof really hard. I can't tell if she's hurt. I mean, I'm pretty sure she's hurt because she's trapped under a ceiling beam, but I don't know if she's just hurt or something else. It's bad in there.
If she's hurt, then we need to go. You didn't see anyone coming to help?
No, but I can't. It's not like when I'm here. Like, I could see what I could see. I could hear what I'm assuming normal people hear.
Yeah. So you have really good coordinates. You just don't have a receiving pad, which means the travel's a little bit riskier. But you know, it's just a dice roll. What's the worst that could happen?
I think
roll a
Caduceus is
95.
all in, but yeah, totally understands if other people are not. But
Yeah,
he's
let's keep
like,
going.
I'm going. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Also, I think Rose probably stepped into this meeting at some point, and Greenstreak was like, "Yeah, let's go. I'm going." And Rose was like, "No, you are not." And they're having a brief argument, and Dr. Light looks at Sentinel. God, too many names.
That's the joy of it.
Looks at raises her eyebrows at you and just goes like, "Go, let's go."
Yeah.
Just is like
Jump on the pad.
telling you to go while they're arguing, basically. So yeah, you jump on there. Are we all gonna go on one die roll, or do you all want your own die roll?
Let's go, baby.
Let's all go on one die roll.
Okay.
I think
We live
Hector's
together, we
hesitant, like
die
he could,
together.
like people could like they saw his body language just like fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, better that we are all together, I guess,
Yeah.
if something does go wrong.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. That's what I was thinking.
All right.
Yeah. Okay. No, I guess that has to be good actually, because I've established that like 95 was bad. I just rolled a 05, and I was like, wait, is that bad? Like, no, it's just 5, and it's like actually the best case range is that like bottom 20%, and the 4 of you just appear in that smashed up lab. All of you wind up like it's a little bit like you're an inch off the ground, or like you have to catch your balance, and like there's stuff in the way that you're like, wait, oh, hold on, let's lift this giant branch off, and not like you can't move stuff, but it's disorienting. I think I'm
Can either of you sense anybody?
having trouble opening my notes. Hector, you are feeling pressure for sure. I don't remember if Citadel was with anyone else here.
I don't remember, and I can't access the pin anymore because Slack has
Yeah,
archived it.
the history of it. Let me see if I can open my text document.
When we get there, Hector's gonna look for Death Rider.
Yeah, okay.
Mm.
Let's roll that while I'm looking at my notes.
In the pinned notes in the Slack, I can see a little bit of it, and it says that the only thing that we had was Frank the Blaster. So
Okay, great. So we'll assume that's the case, and I think we're just gonna say Hector is the only one feeling the overwhelming pressure.
Stupid.
What happened?
No, nothing. This is Hector feeling the pressure.
Oh yeah.
Pressure.
I mean, I guess that's a good sign.
Hello.
Is it that there isn't
Yeah.
another you there?
No, I meant for Hector that his, that his doppelganger isn't dead.
Or
Seems
is
like a
a
good
bad
thing.
one.
Well,
Evil.
What are the chances?
What are the chances?
I will
Sapna
be.
was pretty cool.
That's true. I've got a teleporter kit that seems
I mean,
cool.
50% of the ones you've met have been terrible.
Okay. Yeah, here we go. Also, I can say Dr. Ultra is the one at the little space station. Scintillation is the big, like, traveling spaceship. We'll call it a spaceship because that's what it is. Civilization ship. And who was I confusing that with? And we kind of have
Enge?
like two cyberpunks. Dr. Violet is from E. Brian's home, where there's like the dome habitats. And
Wait, I thought the dome habitats were our Bryant's world. H. Bryant.
yeah, that's what I mean. E. Brian. Is that not what I said?
No,
Oh,
you
no,
said
no,
no.
sorry. E. Brian, Phase Shift, and E. Dalton all came from Dr. Violet's world.
Oh yeah, because
Amber-
H. Bryant is Amber.
Amber.
But
Yeah.
I thought Amber was the one with the dome habitats.
Yes, you're right. Amber is the dome habitats, cyberpunk domes. And Dr.
There's
Violet.
too many multiverses.
I know,
Yeah.
right?
And the Violet one was similar to our world. Yeah. Okay. So, great. Updated my notes a little bit. Yeah. And so when you arrive, we know Citadel's gone, and the only person to feel any particular pressure is Hector. And what do you want to do?
I did Death Rider and I got a pair of 5 and a pair of 7, so I'm going with the pair of 7.
Yeah, that's good. It doesn't seem like, well, I could just tell you she's not dead. Dr. Green is not dead.
Okay.
So we will be able to do something about that.
I am
Yeah.
very quickly like navigating my way towards her, and at the same time, I'm already like sending out a feeler to understand what's going on with her, like what's wrong,
Okay.
what is immediately the worst.
Let's
Frank starts like, reach out, see if you can see anybody around here who might have done this, and then like, doctor, and, like starting to push stuff.
yeah, so
aside.
you lift a bunch of stuff off so that Caduceus can get in there and do some work. What's Sapna's immediate?
Yeah, because I couldn't really hear before.
Oh
Like-
yeah.
Like my kind of hearing.
Yeah. Let's roll that actually. There's a lot of like the sound of flames, and you can hear there are lots of people around. You can hear them like yelling and screaming, and there is quite a commotion happening. And this isn't the only fire. You can look out and see over treetops
It's just the 310s.
just the 310.
Just
Okay.
the 310s.
You can hear fast-moving objects descending into the atmosphere.
It's like a asteroid, something hitting the Earth situation going on.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh shit.
And what's Hector's sort of impulse? I just want to get this everyone's kind of first blush.
Would be to read Dr. Green's mind to figure out what happened.
All right, Kit, let's Caduceus.
Quickly, what's your reaction?
Yeah. Quick,
Ah,
Caduceus, you have to tell
power
me
kill.
what you do. Yeah. Do you need a second?
No, I'm good. I'm ready.
Okay.
I did roll 2 natural 10s, so willpower, please.
Yes. Take your willpower. and
So
shove it
that's
onto your character sheet.
3 10s to figure out what's going on with the good doctor.
Okay. So the good doctor has received an extreme concussion. And
Concussion.
but not the fun kind, and is
Like Mountain Dew?
experiencing like a number of crush-based injuries. I don't know how much detail we want, but she's very badly injured. And
In medical terms, she got smushed.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, she
All right.
did in fact get smooshed.
All right.
So I assume we're just gonna leave her to die.
Yep.
Finish her
Yeah, now
off.
that I've
We'll finish her
like
off.
jumped towards her and like run and tried to diagnose it, now that I know what's going on, like it was just
Just
curiosity.
step on the beam
go
that's
home.
on her.
Just pull a H. Brian and just put him to sleep.
Okay. While
Good
you
thing I
do
have my
it,
trusty pillow.
so it's very easy to get her out from under there. I assume Frank will lift up some beams
Mhm.
and you can like make her safe, right? That's fine.
Yeah. And I know that like, I mean, I guess I am a biokineticist. I was like, oh, maybe I shouldn't move her. She might have a back injury,
Yeah,
but
no,
like,
you can deal with that easily enough.
it's fine. Yeah.
However, what I am going to ask you to decide whether you are healing. So we can prioritize the limbs, but remember we have to choose hit location when you heal
Mhm.
someone, and then I tell you the difficulty based on that.
Sure. Here's the thing. I know the doctors, and if I healed any part of her that was not her head first, I don't think she'd forgive me.
Yes.
So
But
I'm
that does mean we have to use your for the brains move.
Remember that willpower you just got back?
yes. Yes, head heals.
Right.
Yeah,
That's the special one.
absolutely. But you know what? That one doesn't take my willpower, so
Okay.
trade-offs.
Yeah. Yeah. Great.
Um,
And then while you're doing that, Hector, you wanted to check for recent memories, right?
Mhm.
Okay. You can because she's not dead.
Yay!
all right. I'm
3/8.
rolling to
Okay.
heal.
So the 3/8 you get, the most recent thing was, you get this kind of playback of proximity alarms are going off and she's just ignoring them.
Mhm.
It's like, oh, that happens all the time. Like you could you could sense her dismissal of like she is aware
Mhm.
and like silences it and continues the conversation with the other Dr. Lights. So that's the short version. But an alarm went off to some effect. The alarm isn't saying incoming obstacle, like it's just like wah, 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 and she was unconcerned and continued her conversation.
Relay that to the group.
Okay.
via mental
Whatever it was, it's still happening.
Yeah, I'm flying.
Can you
Okay.
check the computer system
I'm
to
gonna
see
go
if
up
it
and
knows
start
what it
looking
is?
for falling stuff.
Okay, good. Let's do that. Kit, what did you, or Caduceus, what did you get on your heels?
I got some 9s, baby.
That's great. Yeah, so you heal up her, how many?
2.
Okay, so, 2 shock and 2 killing. That will take care of her head wounds. So yeah, she comes awake, kind of coughing blood. But you can get to work on that as well.
Yeah. Tell her to stay still.
Yeah.
Do not move.
Yeah, so she's pretty wide-eyed and looking at all of you standing over her. But I want to get Frank in the air here too. So let's have you do a perception check, please, or investigation, whichever you prefer.
That would be sense skills, perception. Oh, that's nice. It's 7 dice.
Must be nice.
Yeah.
Oh, good. Google Drive's actually working now.
Hmm?
My Google Drive's actually working. I can follow along.
Nice.
Oh, scrutiny, not investigation. That's what it's called.
Scrutiny.
Yeah.
Well, perception.
Well, either one is fine. I had said investigation earlier, and I meant scrutiny because of D&D.
I got a pair of 10s and a pair of 1s.
Okay. Natural 10s.
Mm-hmm.
So take a willpower if you're not maxed out. And right away you can see there are asteroids falling in the like you can get right up close to one of them. You're like, is that an asteroid? You go up to it, you're like, that's a big old rock. There's just a rock falling out of the sky that you could send it back out if you want, or blast it into little pieces.
Blast it, shields. I'm just going to be like trying to stop them or break them up into tiny little pieces. Going through them, checking out what's below me too. See if there's anybody who needs help down there. Besides Dr. Light.
Now I do need you to roll scrutiny.
Okay. It's one less die.
It didn't work out.
They didn't.
I mean, it wasn't an absolute failure, but it was a...
What didn't work out? Oh, did you do a dice roll?
Hector was like, can you see if the computer can give you any information?
Oh,
And I looked at him concerningly
it's a new power.
and was kind of like, the subtext was, we've been working together, mentally hold my hand while I try this.
Okay.
And it did not work out, but I didn't roll, like, all of the dice were a 5 or higher.
Okay, great. That was my next question.
I got 4 2s.
Okay, you very quickly do a shitty job.
I've done that many times.
Good.
No, but so that was your scrutiny check, right?
Yes.
So you're racing around, and right away, so I'm going to characterize this, and I'm going to ask you to say, Frank hasn't put this together, but you have this thought of like, God, every single one of these is aimed right at someone's building, right? Like, that's so unfair or unlucky is how I would like you to characterize that.
Somebody hates these buildings.
Or, it's just like, it's not that, I'll just knock out the ones that are going to hit something important. They're all headed towards something important.
Mm-hmm.
And that seems so, is it okay if we characterize it for Frank that way? Of
Yeah.
That's fucking awesome.
This is so unlucky.
Every single one of these things is headed towards something important.
Yeah. But not put together like, well, that probably means somebody aimed it.
Yeah.
Not nursery for kittens. Who thought?
Way too busy to think about that.
Yeah, that's fine. But yeah, in the immediate area, you are able to just blast around and hit ones that you can't get to with your beams, your bean powers.
Like a beanstalk.
Like bangs.
And shield things and just generally crash into stuff. You're able to clear a lot of danger, but there's just so much coming down. So the oh, and the thing. So I actually have to get this with your scrutiny roll, but it's a little late because of your twos. You're looking at the targets. You're like, oh my god, everything, and then you have this like that tingle in the back of your neck, and you turn, and there's this one like, the size there's an asteroid so big, it's like you can't even count it in like the number of washing machines long. It's
Is it
You know,
like
the
an
standard-
extinction event?
yeah.
Type
Do you
asteroid?
know that meme of like Americans will do anything to not use metrics? Like in news stories, of like an asteroid the size of a refrigerator, like 2 meters long.
But we would know what 2 refrigerators was. We wouldn't know what 2 meters.
Yeah,
I mean, it's
actually-
like 2 yards.
Yeah, I think it's fine for news to use touchstones like that, but it is also funny that in other countries they'll just say meters. So, but it is so much bigger. It is like the size of Seattle, right? Like it's incomprehensible, right? And I think you're flying around bashing all these little things, and then the like light gets weird, and you turn, and it's still coming in. It's like moving slower, but it like passes in front of the sun, right? And you're like,
Oh shit.
now that one, if you just blast it, it's gonna hit a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, I gotta push this thing back out.
Yeah, and it's not like a world killer, but it's
a
real
region
bad.
killer.
It's real bad. It would be like setting off a nuke,
Mhm.
right? So not one that destroys the whole world, but certainly.
I'm gonna start using our mental thing to. Oh my god! There's
Okay.
a huge fucking asteroid coming down here to kill everything in a very big area. I gotta get it back to space.
Yeah, just like you would measure it in square miles. So
Hectors.
hectares, hectors or hectares.
Hectares. Maybe hectares.
Probably hectares.
This is
A
about-
bunch of them.
This is about 20,000 hectares.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll get back to that. We just have this like zoom out moment of you like, what is he looking at? You were trying to do what now?
Trying to see if I could gain like useful information out of the computers, like if they would talk to me intelligibly.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
sure they thought it was intelligibly.
Yeah, no, I think the computers are like, yes, we'd love to help you. Enter the password. And you're like, oh, shit.
Okay, fine.
Okay, and Caduceus.
I'm going for the next biggest problem
The
on
Terceau?
this Dr. Light.
The Terceau.
The Terceau. I'm healing the Terceau, which will take willpower, but I just got an extra one, so
Mhm.
Sure.
all looking up in Kit's world.
And her torso does have 10 damage in it, by the way, so
Oh, it's out,
what?
right? It's out, right? There's 10.
Yeah. So you
Yeah.
need 10s to heal it. This is what that means.
You drive a hard bargain, Jason.
I'm just saying that's
Yeah. Just like kind of putting my hands over and delving in and being like, oh shit, everything's fine. You're gonna be fine.
no. And then she's like, "No, I'm not." And she lists off a bunch of like, my rib is puncturing my spleen, and like she's like deeply aware of what's happening inside
Yeah.
her body.
And as she is listing those things out, as I roll 2 10s, Caduceus says, well, now that, and like starts coming back with these things and like saying exactly, if she's going to be exact, he's going to be exactly what he's fixing, and saying like, I told you it would be fine.
Yeah, but when you start using clinical terminology, she actually starts to calm down.
Yeah.
She did not like the "don't worry, everything's fine." That was like
Yeah.
freaking her out.
Right.
But
Oh my
the
god,
like,
she's just like
That's what
me.
you say to somebody who's gonna die.
yeah. But you clear 2 shock and 2 kill. You got 2 tens, right?
2 tens.
Okay,
Mhm.
so you got 2 shock and 2 killing out of there. That means her, heart is not under undue pressure. The lungs are unpunctured. You're able to do a lot of the work that needs to be done. And now she only has 6 damage on her torso, which means the next time you only need 6s.
Great.
So,
Yeah, go ahead.
no. What were you gonna say?
I was just going to say, as I get her healed up to a place that I think it's at least safe to move her, I am going to say, all right, I'm going to help you up. Let me know if anything hurts and I'll try to help too much so that you can't move. And I'm going to try to get you someplace safer. Okay.
Yeah, great.
Okay. And I help her up and
Oh, actually, no. She says, "Yeah, get me to the elevator."
the elevator. Do you think the elevator is going to work?
It definitely will.
Okay. Do we have a mental link going right now?
Probably, yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'll relay that to everyone that I'm taking Dr. Light to the elevator and she seems very confident that it will work.
Does anybody have a range chart handy?
Yes.
Oh, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if I can communicate it to Frank, who is blasting asteroids.
Yeah, I want to check the
But-
range on the
Asteroid.
telepathy power.
It was the second page, so of course
My
the last
power
one I
is a
looked at.
7.
7 dice with no boosters, right?
It's a
Yeah.
640 yards.
Table at 6 and a wiggle.
Yeah, 7 dice is 640.
Mhm.
Okay, so Frank, you are out of telepathic range. So
Okay.
you are you have to go
Sending
miles
all these
up.
mind signals, and it's like, oh shit.
Yeah, so you have to go miles up to because you want to greet this thing before it's close to the ground.
Yes.
And
But this begs the question because we had our communicators in earlier.
yes, yeah. So you do have yeah. Actually, I think you could probably get audio in your ear is fine. But because they're not like dependent on cell towers or anything, they're
Mhm.
actually just like walkie-talkie equivalent radio communication. But you won't be on the like thought band of speedy communications or whatever. So
Did
that-
we get the whole... When he would have said, hey, this is all coincidental, everything's going to something important?
yeah, I mean that's what you said, right? Like, God, every single one of these is dangerous. Like,
Every single one of these fucking things seems to be headed towards one of these buildings.
yeah.
This is the unluckiest.
Yeah.
And then I also say, holy fuck, that is a huge asteroid. I gotta get it back up to space.
Yep. I need to double check your lifting capacity, Chainsaw.
How many dice?
My aura.
Or having
7
fun.
dice, 1 hard die, and 1 wiggle die.
9 dice.
6.4 tons.
That's not enough.
Woof.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so if you want to, so we haven't talked about this much because it's complicated and no one ever wants to do it. But you can actually spend willpower to buy temporary extras on your power.
Uh-huh.
So like booster, for instance. But it's up to you. You would have to buy it. It's weird to say that you have to buy it on all of your dice. So for you to buy booster on your power, it would cost 7 plus 14 is 21. 21 plus 28 is 49. It would cost 49 willpower.
The way
To-
we had done it before, because,
To buy booster?
well, when we were on Super Green,
Yeah.
I extended the range on my power by buying dice into the pool for the roll only.
Right. But getting up to 10 dice would not be enough for this.
Oh, okay.
Because it's what's the mass on that?
12.8 tons?
No. That's like a big dump truck. This thing is like the size of a city.
Like 2 dump trucks.
No. No, you would need you need to go like times 10, which is what a booster gets you.
28,
49
49.
willpower.
That was close.
Yeah. How much have you got
14.
banked up there? Okay.
So I would basically have to burn 4 willpower.
4 base will.
4 bit, yeah.
Yeah, 4 base will get you there. I'll make a deal at 44. If you want to pay 44 willpower,
You're
I
generous.
will wheel that deal.
All right. I think I was at 7 base will. That'll put me at 3.
I love this.
Gotta do it.
Holy
Great.
shit.
I've gotta do it.
Yeah. Now 60 tons is more what we're talking about. So yes, you what does that moment of ultimate focus look like? I mean, you just burned up so much of not like it's permanently gone because you could spend XP or whatever later, but what does this moment look like? This is because you were going to arrest that thing and be able to send it back.
Yeah. I look up. I say into the thing, like, we've got to get this back out, and I go through a quick
You don't have
thoughts
time.
in my head, like, I don't have time to get anybody's help. Sapna's the only one, unless you got your power armor, but like that's not gonna
Spit
do
at
it. And by the time you guys get up here, it's gonna be too late. And Frank just kind of and lets all this power kind of surge through his veins, and like all of the citadel powers come out, and he can feel every ounce of it just going through every single cell, and it tingles in his fingers and toes, and he just and like a shot upwards into the thing, and he uses his shield to widen out so he doesn't go through like
right.
a bullet, and just
Like kind of
around.
balance the impact of it.
Yeah,
and-
just as it's like starting to catch fire as it's coming into the atmosphere, and he stops it,
Fuck yes.
arrests the power,
Amazing.
and just feeling muscles ripping
Yeah.
as he's doing this. Just pushes it back, and then just sort of kind of, and he's descending with his flight power, but faster than he would on purpose.
Yeah. I mean, could we have him like lose consciousness for a second
Uh-huh.
and just be in free fall?
Yeah. So just like kind of like,
And
I
then-
did it. And he kind of, and then you just see like all of that scintillating power just flicker off. And his eyes roll back, and he just starts falling.
I love that. Okay. So you all have a moment so you're Caduceus, you're trying to get Dr. Green to the elevator. So I think you're
Yes.
hyper focused. And what happens is you get her over to the trunk of the tree that this building was built around, which is big enough to have an elevator inside it. And the bark just like splits open in a very organic, yucky way. And inside is an oblong, well, like kind of like a bean-shaped pod. And this is what she's calling an elevator. And she wants you to get
Amazing.
her inside of that.
Can it be vaguely slug-like?
Slug-like.
Like, you know how sometimes it's not actually a slug, but like trees sometimes have like things that live inside of them.
Oh, yeah. I was thinking of it like a seed, but it could be like a creature or something. Sure.
If you've seen chocolate seeds when they come out.
Oh,
they're, like,
that's true.
goopy and
Chocolate seeds
nasty.
are nasty.
Oh
looking.
yeah, those weird cacao pods.
Yeah, let's go with that. Like, it's not actually slimy, but it looks like it would be.
Yeah.
You know, like when you touch a snake, you know, it looks like they're yucky to touch, but they're actually just dry.
Mhm.
I like snakes. Sorry.
Dry but
I've
evil.
really been on a resisting temptation to get a snake lately. So
Oh,
I feel you.
Yeah. Yeah, you get Dr. Green into this elevator. Now, the two of you, though, were kind of tracking Frank's... you were trying to talk to the computer. Didn't work out. Maybe you glance up at that point, because it's now an open air. It's an atrium now. What are you up to?
Hector would definitely be tracking Frank, and I think once the shield went up, it would be like HD in Caduceus's and Sapna's brains.
Yeah.
Like, look what Frank is doing, like, and it's just like dead silence from like Hector's. Like, he's not saying anything. Like, he's just watching. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I think maybe you grab some. There's maybe some like binoculars that you're able to grab, and then you can relay what you're seeing
I
to
don't
the
think
others?
he would grab them or not, because I think it's big enough for him to see just like the.
Yeah, but you might not be able to see Frank.
But he could probably see like the shield, right?
Oh, yeah,
Like,
that's true. Yeah, this glow extends
Mhm.
out
yeah.
over the surface
And
of
he's
it.
just like, I think, captivated and is probably like not the word. Just like totally just like dumbfounded, like with
Yeah.
the expression of the power, like.
Yeah, and it is also the sort of thing of like you see an asteroid like that, like you can't comprehend. You know,
Yeah.
like it's just bigger than
Mhm.
thought. Like it's just too much for most people, even superheroes, I think, to like
Right.
take into account like the just absolute devastation something like that would wreak.
I think
Um
actually Hector's thought would be like, I think we're right, and then that's when the shield starts to go, and
They're
then
like-
it's like,
you actually have the moment of like, oh, this is it.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah, like everybody get that probably in HD, right? I think and then that's when you start to see Frank's shield start to,
okay.
yeah,
Okay. So we see that. We see the asteroid stop and then start to get smaller. And as you know, you're actually like letting yourself breathe and hope again.
mm-hmm.
And you just see this limp body falling back down into the atmosphere.
I'm gonna call out a couple of times over the comms, and when I get no response, just shoot over there.
Okay. You fly up there, grab him. You got me. Who's got you? Is it to grab him in like the bridal carry or the fireman's carry?
I think this one is like,
Because he's a big dude.
yeah, exactly. This one is the fire, but scary because
Yeah.
it's just like the most important thing is interception.
Yeah.
So it ends up being kind of like a football tackle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because Sapna's basic strength is like 2, right? Like
Yeah.
that's out of that's normal average human, right?
Like yeah.
So, yeah. You get your shoulder into his gut and, make sure you've got a good hold of him and boom your way back down to the tree. I think you actually have a moment of like, oh shit, which tree was it? Because you look down and it's like kind of hard. So you can see where buildings are, but there's so much destruction. And probably even before the destruction, it would have all looked really similar to you.
I think there's like a moment where it's like, okay, I got you. We're gonna. Hector, could you set up some kind of beacon?
You like turn on a light or something.
A lot of light
fire
turning on
anything.
this adventure, everybody.
Like wave.
Yeah. And the overall vibe I'm going for here is like if the Lord of the Rings,
Galadriel.
yeah, if Galadriel's elves were a high-tech society, right, and that like they were merged with all their tech was sort of nature-based, right? That's kind of what I'm envisioning here. So from above, it's canopy, which is like, oh shit.
Mhm.
It all looks the same. Yeah, but you managed to guide them back in, and you
Hotter, colder, hotter,
yeah,
colder.
you bring Frank in for a landing, and for all intents, like you can tell Frank isn't dead, but you're also like not sure why he's unconscious. Like you don't see there are no wounds.
Yeah.
There's
And this isn't really my strong suit.
right.
Caduceus, can you multitask?
What-
Caduceus is in the elevator.
I mean, if I'm getting a mental ping, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Can I smelling salt him?
So I think okay, so first of all I want to establish so I think in this amount of time, Caduceus, you've gone into the
Okay.
goober elevator and
Goob.
it's descending.
Uber Vader.
And
goober.
you are moving down through the tree when you get this question.
What task am I multiing?
Frank's not waking up.
Can I
Oh,
try
okay.
to smelling salt him?
Like a medicine check?
No, just like use my powers to try to get it.
Oh, like just pull his
I love that.
consciousness back to the surface.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's try it.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, the
That's
useful
great.
column is great for that.
Trinity 3 7s.
Okay. Yeah, that's great. Yeah. Frank, you are
I think this is the first time that Sapna would see Hector actually touch somebody while using his powers, because he's never really sort of did this before. So he's just kind of like,
yeah, I love that.
Mind meldy thing.
yeah.
Holy shit, dude.
So Frank, what was the really nice dream you were having? Now, I don't want
What
like
part
a
of
sexy
Texas were
dream,
you at?
but
Frank?
like a chill, like you were in a very peaceful place.
Yeah. I was actually just gonna have him go 5 more minutes.
No, I need the dream setting.
All right. What does Frank dream of on a good night?
Electric sheep.
Like, that's exactly. I was gonna try to do something with that, but I didn't have time to write it. Let's see. I think nature, camping,
Sure.
Fishing?
Like fishing?
a dog.
Yeah.
There's actually a bunch of fish that he's getting ready to cook for somebody special. He doesn't know who that person
Yeah,
is.
like somebody is in the tent.
Or like getting some water from the lake or
There's
whatever.
like fish on a
Or
line.
the tent door's about to open, and that's when you get pulled.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're like turning to say, "Oh, good," and Hector steps out of the tent.
Yeah.
That's-
Like,
is,
just his head.
is that okay? Like, so Hector steps out onto the beach with you,
Whoa.
Yeah.
and what do you say?
Hey man, that was badass. We gotta get going.
I think you're still in dream logic. Like you don't really remember the asteroid right now. I'm not gonna do a
Yeah.
like amnesia thing, but like in this moment, you're like, you know who Hector is, but
Man. Just 5 more minutes.
We don't have 5 minutes, man.
Oh.
I'll get you back here.
I think my hands are shaking a little. Because I'm basically down to no willpower.
oh, are you at 0 willpower? Oh yeah, because I had you spend the whole thing.
Mhm.
Yep. Yeah. Okay. And how much base will do you have?
3.
Okay.
Whew.
No, that's fine. So you're gonna like follow Hector, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay. So Hector, you're able to drag him up out of sleep. But Frank, you feel just weak as a kitten.
Yeah, I'm imagining that part in Princess Bride where like right after drop your sword
yeah.
and he like tries to move and he's like, well,
Oh, I knew
and
you were
his
bluffing.
knee just buckled.
Yeah. Yeah, and that is it. Like you don't feel your powers, any of them,
Mhm.
right? They're just not there. And technically you could try to use them, but for our purposes, you feel empty inside. And that's where we are right now.
That's not unlike normal.
So what you say is I still got willpower. Can Hector? What does Hector feel towards the no willpower?
Say that again?
Like, is it something on a metaphysical level or a physical level? Like, what does he register?
That's a great question. I hadn't really thought about that. I think it is metaphysical, basically. Not like in a like spiritual sense, but there's a component of it that is your confidence and a component of it that is controlling your body's access to superpowers, and that combination of thing is critical, and you have
Right.
to have both things. And so it's not like his confidence is gone, it's just he's in shock, you know.
Okay.
It's probably a better way to think of it.
Hector's clocking that in his brain.
Sure. It's like Dumbo dropped the feather.
Mhm.
You know, that's what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
What are you up to?
I think that I am gonna roll a scrutiny
Mhm.
to see if, because like Sapna is a skeptic,
What do you want to know?
and this seems wild for a coincidence. And city-sized asteroids don't just appear over Earth with no one knowing. So yeah.
Oh, and actually, sorry, Frank, I should have said when you were heading up or when you were rushing around before going after the big one, you did see Green Lake.
Okay.
Yeah, you were directly
When I
above Green
pushed the
Lake.
big asteroid out, did it hit something on its way out that exploded?
Not sure yet.
Mm-hmm.
You got it going the right direction and then just fell back.
So that is a pair of 5s.
Okay. And this is to scrutinize the rocks fall, everyone dies.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's like this feels sus. It
Yeah.
feels sus, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I think you, Sapna, have probably seen what it looks like when there were satellites in the sky. You look up and you can see this is pretty close to sundown right now. So the timing of the day was a little different from the day you just left because it was fully nighttime. This was like sundown, and the you can see some lights that are not as stationary. So like they're not stars, right? And they're not close enough to be a plane or whatever. So it does seem like something is up there, but yeah, I mean it stretches credulity that each one of these would be aimed at some sort of critical target, and then there's this backup thing that's like
That would just and like if there's stuff up there that's not stars, that's in the atmosphere, even if I assume it's satellites, they should have gotten more than just a proximity alarm.
mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like it and I bring that up. It's like this is not a like coincidence. Like city-sized asteroids don't just appear out of nowhere. And there's a lot of stuff up there that's moving around. Like I don't know space, but like there's a lot of stuff up there that is moving around.
I turn to the Dr. Light that does this Dr. Light have a different name? I'm trying to
Dr.
remember.
Green?
Dr. Green?
Yeah.
That's her name?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, she probably has some other name, just like yours does, but
Mhm.
she goes by Dr. Green.
Great. I turn to her and I say, you hadn't made the choice about telling people in your universe yet, had you?
I was going to tell everyone, but I haven't made the announcement yet.
Okay. All right.
I think I might delay it now.
Yeah, then it's and I report back into the group chat responding to Sapna. It definitely seems more connected to something that happened in our world, though I don't know why this one would be targeted because of something we did.
I mean, it could be. You don't think it's Brian, do you? Not ours. The evil one. Goatee
Yeah.
man.
I mean, it makes sense that this would be one of the ones that he had some contact with if Citadel was here.
But we don't have any indication that there was or is a Brian here.
Right.
Which doesn't mean there isn't, but...
And it doesn't mean that he's not helping someone else get
Mhm.
through, because that's something that we know he does.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm just being paranoid. I mean, everything feels very bad right now.
I think your hunch is right. Something's wrong here.
Do we have a way to get up there?
I wonder if they have any space trees.
So as you're looking up there, and the asteroid was really high up, and it got sent back the other direction. There's no need to roll for the, let's say, fireworks show that comes, and in the if you like remember like, oh yeah, okay, the path of the asteroid was in that direction. It seems like it has continued on and hit something behind it, and there's like a series of bright lights, like explosions, but you can't hear anything because it's suborbital.
Yeah.
But it's like a slow moving bowling ball through the last remaining pins of like clunk clunk, the bowling ball of inevitability.
Frank, you got a strike. Looks like.
Hey. That means somebody owes me a beer.
I definitely owe you a lot of beers after that.
Yeah, I think,
Cleveland rules.
And Sapna is kind of like dazed by
Just
the both like astral projecting into another dimension and then coming over here and that.
Mm-hmm.
And then that being something big enough that took out Frank. That it's just like, holy, like, I don't even know. I'm not smart enough for this. I'm not smart enough to figure any of this out.
Hector would ask.
Hold on real quick. Frank, what are your passions and loyalties?
Passion. The team. Loyalties. Protecting the people of Green Lake.
Oh, how much do you have in loyalty?
I think it's 3 and 3.
A 3? Okay, take 3 willpower.
Woohoo.
Hell yeah.
Nice.
So you can feel power begin to trickle back into to your awareness. Yeah.
Does Dr. Green have some sort of sensors in space? Like something was there.
These are bigger than like some little like satellites or whatever. These are like, they're like on par with nuclear explosions.
Right, but is there like a telescopes or something we could see without having to go there?
Yes. Well, once we have Dr. Green in a state to be more helpful, probably there are
We
some
should
things.
all get into the same room.
Where are you taking her?
I don't know. I just
Um,
kind of followed her lead. Where are we
This
going?
is all, you're just in your audio channel, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I speak out. I say I don't know, and then I speak out loud to Dr. Green. Where are we going?
We're going to the root access.
We don't have that where we're from. What is that?
It's like maybe you would call it a bunker. It's underground.
Oh, we're heading to a safe house.
Okay. Just before we go, obviously change it after I leave, but can I have your password real quick?
On a 1, she's not going to give it to you.
It's that kind of day for Jason's dice.
So it obviously makes sense that she would cooperate, but she is not in a fit state, is not making good, like,
judgment.
yeah,
Just like the snap back of like, of course not.
no, that's a ridiculous request.
Okay.
Because then you'd know all my passwords.
Yeah.
I give you that one.
One,
What a
Yes,
good boy.
two,
Sarah?
three, four.
So I'm guessing what happened was you rolled and it was a 1 because
Yes.
apparently my tech rolled a 1 at the same time.
Did it really? Oh, okay.
That was
Yeah.
very funny.
Yeah. No, I
Amazing.
rolled it in my open case here, and it
It was like, F you, Sapna.
Yep.
F you.
So good.
1 in 10
1 in
chance.
10.
So how do we operate this tree? Hector's like,
So Dr. Green tells you all how to summon your own pod, and so Kit, you're still descending.
Mhm.
And another one is coming up, and they actually like squish to like go past each other.
Oh.
And so your pod is like, "What?" And then it like, you know, these are very good
Can't
sound
be
effects.
healthy.
But the pods squish to let each other pass, and then one is going up to get the 3 of you. So
Excellent. You're evil.
shall we fast forward to the route access?
Yeah.
Okay. There's a root seller, as Chet said. But no one's selling roots here, so
all the way from the roof to the roots.
The root cell.
so it's a root kit. Then the 5 of you, find yourselves in this basement area that is the walls. It is like you're inside a wooden, like. Yeah, I mean, you're inside a wooden tube, basically. You're inside of a root, and it
Wooden
will.
Jeffrey's tube.
Yeah, it's but there's a bunch of stuff set up. There's like water containers, and it's like an emergency, refuge, and it doesn't go anywhere. It's an enclosed space, right?
Right.
It's not like it goes to the next tree or something, but
That would be ridiculous.
yeah, it's stupid. So it, the 5 of you are in the basement here, and
What's it look like?
it is just
Barky.
yeah, it's like you're inside a wooden container, basically. It's
Good.
lit by little globes that start to glow when people move around, and there are some supplies that are stashed down here, and there's an emergency beanbag chair that the
Dr. Green immediately goes on it.
Dr.
Yeah.
Green throws herself into.
Careful, Jesus.
Like your head is barely attached. Just like calm down. So this is where you find yourselves. What do you do?
Okay.
Those came from someone's. There was something out there.
Oh, well, we should check the orbital telescope.
Where's
Yeah.
that?
Yeah, that sounds like a good idea.
Yeah, man.
Do you have access to the orbital telescope from here?
No, I need my equipment.
Gotta
Where's
go
your
back up the
equipment?
tree?
Well, unless and she like pats her pockets, is like, oh, I don't even have my remote.
Remote?
Yeah, I mean, I have you would all call it a tablet. It lets me access my computers.
How tough is this remote?
I mean, it's probably just fell out of her pocket or whatever, or it was like on the desk upstairs.
Right, but it did all get smushed.
A lot of stuff got smushed upstairs. Yes.
Whoa, all this technical jargon.
Yes.
In English.
I can go up and see if I can find it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, if you do, just log in with this username and password.
Thanks.
Thanks, Doctor. Real helpful. That's what Hector says.
I'm just trying to do my part here.
Great job.
Oh, my ribs hurt so bad.
Okay, I'm gonna go up and see, I guess, if I can find this.
Okay, cool.
Or, barring actually finding the tablet, use that username or password on the computers.
Sure.
Hector's gonna go with Sapna.
So, Sapna, you can. How many dice do you have in your technology power?
Just 4.
What's the range on a 4-die power?
80 yards.
Oh yeah, you can sense the equipment from here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I don't know why I thought it was like I thought it was so much further.
No, it's like an 80-yard tree. That's huge. That's an enormous tree.
He got blown out to another tree.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna reach out and log in.
Yeah. That's not difficult, especially because you've been given access, and yeah, you are mentally plugged into the surviving equipment that's up there. And actually, you have a pretty good sense of how to put a lot of it back together. The power sources are things you wouldn't be able to replicate because they're not the kind of chemical batteries that you're used to. There's some sort of like biomass that powers them. But you understand the rest of it. Like, it does use some wiring and circuitry and all that kind of stuff. And that's the part that your power can latch onto and use that way.
Hector's looking around for beverages because he knows that the doctor's light usually has like a refrigerator in her office, not for her water, and then for drinks for other people.
Yeah, there's a pallet of water pods down here that are, the size of a grapefruit, and just little blue containers that are sitting on a little. There's like a flat. Right. There's like 30 of them.
Hector will take some.
Okay.
Not all of your equipment survived.
Okay, well, I'm glad some of it did. And you have the satellite antenna is working, or at least you could probably get it working again. Let's roll some dice about it.
Okay.
Did you want to spend any willpower on it, or?
I think I'll spend one.
Okay, for an extra die?
Yeah, just for my extra, for a little bump here.
Sure.
I also could kind of think of this as Sapna has this sense of the technology that is always impinging upon them. But then, when they try to reach out, they're trying to reach out in the same way they try to reach out with their distortion powers.
Right.
And kind of wrestling it is what gives it that little boost. Is how I kind of thematically go through this with willpower.
Yeah.
Pair of 8s.
Yes. You are on your way to getting things booted back up. It's gonna take a minute, just a pair. So, you have command of the equipment up there, but you're getting cables to snake back together, and just manipulating the equipment to get it working again. And right now, it's just a matter of time. You've set a bunch of tasks in motion, and you're just keeping track of it all. So I'm gonna say you're fully distracted, but it's kind of like a Sims, you're like, okay, no, you just go around the corner and there's the bathroom.
I think Hector, if you're riding along for this, mentally, the kind of images that you're seeing is because all of this is kind of eco, kind of organic, that wires start growing up like roots to connect to other things, and they twist back together, and stuff starts to grow out, not skin growing across exposed muscle, but not like steroid exposed muscle.
Yay, Sapna's just as gross as Caduceus now.
Join me.
So yeah, it's freaky up there.
Yep.
Good thing no one is there.
Yeah. Okay. And Hector, you're grabbing a drink.
Mm-hmm.
Caduceus, are you trying to do some more healing on Dr. Green?
Well, I think I'm looking for a medical kit, and I'm doing some good old-fashioned
Sure.
first aid
Let's do that.
on the remaining injuries.
Yeah, we're definitely in the first aid territory here. So
I mean, we're
let's-
not quite out of the woods, but I think we're in a place where like her life isn't immediately in danger, so we can do
Correct.
some assistive.
yes, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Medicine, right?
In this case, I think first aid is fine. It's the same number of dice, but yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Let's see. Oh, I barely have any dice in this.
Oh yeah, we gave you dice in biology and
They
zoology
lie.
as well. That's
Yeah,
fun.
when I studied that book.
Yep.
6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. If I don't get matches on this, I'm going to throw a fit.
It's 9 dice. It's almost impossible.
Uh-huh.
He says, having
Consider
done it
that
last season or
challenge.
last session.
That's right.
I got 7s.
Okay. So yeah, you manage to, especially because you can feel where each wound is and what each wound needs as far as like, okay, we're going to brace this, we're going to staunch that, we're going to, and I assume you keep explaining to her what you're doing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, that's like, I think that's something that Kit literally trained themselves out of doing. So someone's
Yeah.
that's like, please do this. They're like, oh, thank God.
Yeah. And you can feel her calming, like the physical aspect of her calming down when you're explaining what's happening, even when there's like a jolt of pain. You're like, oh, that sucked, but I understand why, and it's not as scary. So
Yeah. Yeah. And
Um,
especially being able to explain that, like, right now, none of this is life threatening. Like, I'm not lying to you when I say it's going to be all right.
yeah, she's also not experiencing any amount of shock. And it's also important to note, I probably should have told you this sooner, not all of her biology is familiar to you.
Oh, interesting. In what way is it unfamiliar?
Part Wookiee.
Well, some of it seems more like botany than biology.
Oh.
Interesting.
There are sections where, like how in real life, sometimes human blood is red and sometimes it's blue when it's deoxygenated. Hers is red and then sometimes green.
I guess
Oh,
we really should
interesting.
have brought
Like
Heather.
chlorophyll.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Heather would be fascinated, I'm sure.
Amazing.
So yeah, there are some little differences where, and even you might even notice like ratios of like, oh, this bone is longer than that bone, like just like little odd differences. And it's hard to tell without doing a deep dive, which you can with your power if you want.
Sure.
But it would be a deep dive to really look at like the DNA implications here.
You know what I'm going to do before I do that is I'm actually going to start doing the doctor thing, where I've got that this is a calming thing for her. And so I'm going to start actually noting the differences and being like, oh, actually, in our universe, it's like this, but it seems like your biology has this, and see like how that
Yeah,
helps
okay. You've
or
activated her
hinders.
trap card. Yeah.
Exactly.
She is like very engaged with talking about those differences. Even when you're like, okay, hold on, I have to set this bone. She's like, that's fine. And like continues going with the conversation.
Amazing.
Also, her bones in general are a little bit more flexible than ours. There's just not like they're spongy or gross. They're just like a little more bendy.
Yeah,
than
I'll absolutely
ours.
use that to make a nice little doctor joke, like right as I'm like setting something to be like,
Right.
in our universe, this would be harder. Clunk.
Yeah. I think let's go ahead and roll. I'm just going to do like a free roll of your power. It's not going to cost
Sure.
willpower.
Great. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. I've got 7s again.
Okay. The other thing that you pick up on is barring a killing blow, her body, it's not fast, but she basically has the equivalent of regeneration in that she's guaranteed to recover if she's not dead, but she heals at normal human speed. Right? Does that make sense?
Like nothing's gonna heal wonky, essentially.
Right. But like, yeah, her bones would have set back the right way. Like if she wasn't bleeding out and she's not, crushed or just killed outright. Kind of in the way that like a tree will
Cut off a branch.
yeah, it will close it up and get on with its life and just inevitably keep going unless there's some sort of infection, like something outrageous like that. Her biology is in it to win it. Like it's just not going to quit. Her body doesn't quit is the
Oh yeah.
Do you mind if I ask her a question about that?
you ask whatever you want.
Amazing. I think I take note of that and I say, is this I briefly explain what I've noticed, and then I say, is this something that is innate or is this something that you've done yourself? Either way, it's very impressive.
I see what you mean. Gosh, this was so long ago. I helped further this research, but it's something that most of us have. Actually, I think she says, yeah, like some time ago, humans started making adaptations, and this was some of the like basics of what we came up with. And humans here, for their own reason, live hundreds of years. So that is another component of this.
When we're not fighting for both our lives and your world, I would love to hear more.
Yes, certainly. I forgot, it's been so long. I sort of forget that it's something that we did to ourselves, but it was to help us be able to live more in harmony with how the earth operates. So
yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
I want the forever serum.
Who wants to live forever?
So, Dr. Light is on the mend. You are connecting some computers upstairs. Hector, you're getting everybody some water and all that kind of stuff. Okay, what are you up to?
I'm still feeling wonky and woozy.
I mean, you got 3 whole willpower.
Yeah. Just gonna burn them.
Yeah.
Nothing in particular.
Why not? Yeah.
Just to feel better.
Plus 3 dice on a zoology roll.
There you go. Yeah, I just want to know what was up there.
Okay.
Who I threw a rock through their spaceship.
Well, you managed to get the system back online. I mentioned it would take a minute. It's been a minute. You managed to get access to the telescope. And when you log in and use the login credentials that she gave you, it doesn't say welcome, Dr. Green. It says welcome, Silent Scream. I almost said Sapna, but that's not what it says. You're able to give this telescope some directions. It turns out this telescope is actually mounted on the moon. So it's a moon-based observatory, and you can kind of direct it back towards the Earth, and it you can see there are a series of great big spaceships amassed, and they and spaceship debris, where this rock has exited the atmosphere and now basically seems to be in a stable orbit. Like it's not really leaving Earth anymore, but it like bumped into a bunch of, it was just a slow moving, the steamroller from Austin Powers. But the ships were so big and there were a lot of them. So you can kind of like wind back the video a little bit and watch as this rock just plows through, and a bunch of the armada is moving out of the way, but there are these great big, I'm gonna go with like flying saucer kind of spaceships. Some of them are little like one-person flying saucers. Some of them are like, again, like as big as that asteroid. Like that huge one was far enough back that it didn't have to get out of the way, right? But lots of smaller ones and medium-sized ones were like, just this chain reaction of crashing into each other at that point. Nobody expected it to come back. It was.
We have named that asteroid the Spanish Inquisition.
Yes, yes, thank you.
Fuck. You wouldn't happen to be at war with aliens, would you?
We haven't made contact with any extraterrestrial species.
Seems like they made contact with you.
Yeah.
Well, this was a terrible way to make a first impression. Sorry, as I spit at everybody.
If I had
She
to,
also spits.
if
Just
I had
at Sarah.
to
It was
guess,
all
I mean, like, A, those look like they came from Roswell, and B, there's so many of them.
Yeah, and by the way, you could probably just show on your phone. You could like link this video, and she also is like, "Oh yeah, those aren't our ships." She's like able to confirm.
Do you have spaceships?
Of course we do. We're not
Sweet.
Neanderthals. They died out 100 years ago.
Hunted to death.
By us. No. That's sorry. This is so horrible.
We were just doing a bit.
Yeah.
Just doing a bit.
How fast can you sense sound wave spectrums?
I mean, at the speed of sound.
Could you check to see maybe they're trying to talk to us?
Oh, well, that would be radio waves, which are different from what they can detect.
We have established that before with RFID cards being
Yes.
radio
Oh,
waves
yeah.
rather than
Yeah.
anything else.
However, you now have access to radio wave receivers.
Well, that's true.
So finding the right frequencies and all that might be the trick, because you're not picking up anything on the like, Dr. Green's equipment has like you're passively getting the like emergency broadcast stuff and some like random entertainment broadcast that's still on because it was just on, automatically. Just streaming stuff, right?
It's just, you gotta get your daily soaps in.
Yeah. It's like nobody had to keep it going, it's just like on automatic. And so you were able to just like mute all of that. Or like, oh, okay, I don't want to deal with that right now. But if you wanted to try to do like a broad spectrum frequency search, we could try something like that.
Okay.
Okay. So this has a difficulty level, like a minimum thing you need to hit, and I'm not going to tell you what it is because the difficulty is a secret. Okay.
And I'm not going to tell you because it's
Is
secret.
that how secrets work?
Yeah, it's a secret thing that I'm not going to tell you because it's secret. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So if you roll and I say that's not it, I'm sorry. I do have a number in mind. I think you all trust me at this point.
Okay. So this is another one where it's like, this is so...
You buying a die?
I am, because focus is hard.
Yeah, it is.
Like... I got a pair of sevens.
You're not picking it up. Actually, I'm going to say you have seen there is something to pick up, but it's like just keeps skipping across. You're like, no, you like turn the dial too far. You're like, God damn it, just go in the middle, and it just keeps too far forward, too far back. You know, it's hard to land on the frequency they're using. So
There's something that I can't. It's like, no. Fuck. And I like just like you see like throw my hands out. I can't get it. I can't. It's like,
Well, at least we know there's something, right? Like, we're not at 0 right now.
Maybe
Dr. Green could help.
What can you describe the problem?
I've got I can figure out, like, I've narrowed down a range of the frequencies they're using, but I can't tune it.
Can you do you have like a output? Like she doesn't know what she's asking either, but she's like, "Can I see what you're doing?"
Do you have a projector?
I mean, you have your phone.
Oh, yeah.
But
Or we
but
could-
one of the problems was her tablet was upstairs,
Yeah.
right? So,
We could put her in the mind link, and I could show her what Sapna's seen.
ooh, I was gonna do something about that. Did I have you read Dr. Green's mind already?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, you
What
did.
I think. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no, I did.
I told you she wasn't dead,
Right.
right?
And then
okay.
you read the memory of right before the impact.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I did do that. I was gonna say something about her biology being different, but too late. I don't need to retcon that. Okay.
Okay.
Her biology's not that different. You can get in there. Yeah. So yeah, you link her in. She can see what you're seeing, and together she's like directing you to like, okay, just use this part of the equipment, turn off all of this stuff, and you're like, oh yeah, that would make it go too far, right? Like, because your instinct is like turn everything up to maximum, and it's like, no, you don't you could just do a little bit. So I'm gonna have you make the roll with let me roll her dice because
It does feel like it's like when you give a kid a car, like a go-kart for the first time.
yeah. Add 3 dice.
Oh, sweet.
Oh, yes, that's... Go-karts have 2 speeds. Stop and all the way.
Yes. Yeah. So she's trying to show you how you can like modulate the output a little, or the detection algorithm.
That time it's a pair of 9s
Okay.
and a pair of 6s.
So we needed 8s. What's the magic number? So
Nice.
sorry.
So much like my previous attempts to make this frequency work, just a little bit.
Yeah.
Just a little bit.
Yeah. And you actually have if I mention that there's an element of needing to be delicate with the technology, remind me that you have some expertise in that. Okay? So
Expertise and delicacy.
yeah, kind of like having a specialty and a skill, of like fine technotronics kind of stuff, or electronics is what I meant to say. Like you have some extra proficiency in that regard. And you land on their frequency, and you find they are they're
Intruder alert. Intruder alert.
I'm sorry, Dave. I can't. So you're getting their voices, right? And they're sort of gruff and gravelly voices for the most part, but you can tell that it's speech. You don't totally understand what they're saying, but right away, you just instinctively feel the like translation algorithms in Dr. Green's like hard drives. You're like, oh, I know how to get this, right? But I'm gonna need you to roll your power again. Without the Dr. Green bonus this time.
Pair of 6s.
That's fine. That's fine. So you
Where
are.
was this? Where was this magic last session?
However, what that means is you got 6s.
Yeah.
That was your best match.
Yeah.
Okay, so
That's
I'm
my
going to
only
give you
match.
60% understanding of their language.
Sweet.
Okay. So that's a little more than half, as we all understand percentages. Sorry to explain that.
Wait, can you
Uh,
re-explain that to me?
Yeah. Sorry.
That's a number.
I went into teacher mode. The conversation is there's a lot of like damage control happening, of like reorganizing the fleet and making a brief retreat, and everybody pause, like everyone return to your local mothership, even though only one of the motherships has been attacked. There's a lot of that type of conversation, but you're not able to get a lot of specifics. But it does tell you there are other, like that great big ship that had backed up enough to not get hit, there are others of those around the planet.
Holy shit, there's more of them. Like,
Wait.
like more of the big one. They're all over the place.
It's like,
It's actually aliens.
yeah. It's
It wasn't any sort of like world language that you all were familiar with.
some kind of Independence Day situation here.
Kinda.
I guess you welcome them to Earth, I guess.
Yep. I think to make it right, we would have to say there are 9 motherships. For this show, there would have to be 9, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
8 now, bitches.
Yeah. Well, no, that big one got out of the way,
Oh,
right?
damn
It just, a bunch of its fleet was wrecked.
Oh, okay.
And it was like, because it wasn't that close. And so it,
Well, bright side, we know how to take care of it. Who's got a computer virus?
yeah, a Mac laptop with a
Sorry.
USB connection.
This is like a lot of shell shock. We're
Yeah, I
There's
feel like
that.
we're all just like aliens are real and they're attacking a universe that is not ours. And
Are we the defenders of this planet now?
Well, a few people have superpowers that will probably turn up. I don't think there are many like pinnacle level superheroes. They're all like Luke Cage kind of, that level, Daredevil.
Right.
it's more defenders than Avengers.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
More like Heroes for Hire.
Yeah,
It's like not even Defender level yet.
yeah.
Ugh.
so do we try to establish contact or
I don't know.
say, hey, get off our lawn? Or-
Mm-hmm. Do you have any way of protection, Dr. Green?
I mean, we don't have any sort of planetary defense, if that's what you're asking.
That's what I'm asking.
Do you have a line to some kind of leadership who could make decisions about this? I feel weird just showing up because you went dark and then suddenly making decisions for your planet is what I'm saying.
Well, I mean, if the decision is get invaded or not, I don't know if anyone's going to be mad at you. But no, I don't have the council's number.
I thought it was worth asking.
Do they have an email box? You could just email them.
I
Like,
guess, but I don't know when they're going to get back to me.
I'm kidding.
And I think at that point, like, Sapna just kind of looks around, but, like, specifically looks to Caduceus. It's like, you are the smartest person I know who is not a Dr. Light.
Okay. I mean, you were able to make some kind of understanding and contact with them, right, Sapna?
I mean, it's not contact, it's more,
You can listen in.
I wouldn't call it eavesdropping. If you're just going to have sound and communications open out there in the universe that I can hear, it's really not eavesdropping.
You're worried about the moral aspect of this? Of listening to your
Planetary
invaders?
annihilation. Man, really eavesdropping over here.
I mean, we've still
and-
got.
To be clear on the, like, just to make sure everyone's characterizing this on the same page, like, they were ready to essentially nuke this
Yeah.
whole area.
There is something happening, yeah.
There is no indication that they were dropping a bunch of other rocks because those ones would have fallen.
Yeah.
And there's no report of those happening. And it seems like this was their primary target.
Yeah.
Okay. So
But if we don't know what's happening, then we can't really. Do we still have contact with our universe?
If you have your earbud, do you have it with you?
always.
Okay,
Because otherwise, how would Brian be able to
that's fine.
call
Yeah,
us?
that's entirely your call. Not a gotcha question.
No, it's really like I think it's compulsive now.
Yeah.
Like Sapna sleeps with it next to them.
Yeah.
Like it's this is the lifeline.
We do
I
have
guess at what
something
point
that
does it
can.
become an implant?
You know how to do it. The whether it is or
Slowly.
not is the question.
It is not currently.
Okay.
Um,
You've been thinking about it?
Pooja the player has been thinking about it.
Okay.
Caduceus says we do have something and looks to Hector that can survive in those circumstances. If we could get it sent over. And you're up for a fly.
Yeah. Get in the power suit.
Oh, right. Okay.
But like you would be one person against.
Yeah.
So you're listening into the alien conversations, and you're listening to like dozens of conversations all at once. Then there is a like series of tones, and everyone stops talking, and then you 60% is enough to give you a countdown, and there is a single countdown happening, and a bunch of people said affirmative or copy. Like I understand the instructions, I understand, and then there's a 10-second countdown happening.
Oh fuck.
What fuck?
10, 9, 8.
I guess we run to see what's happening outside, or maybe don't, because
Yeah, or maybe we stay in the bunker.
yeah, I guess we just wait out this timer and stay in the bunker.
Do we see anything on the spectrum? With what we're looking at from the telescope?
With your telescope?
Mm-hmm.
You can see the disarray of this mothership was organized. Like all the remaining ships were pulled off to the side and are in little organizations of like 3 ships, right? So they fly in trios, and they've all organized in like 3 and 3 threes, and there's this very like regimented formation. That's the word I wanted. And then there was like some blaster fire that if you were like, oh god, they're just like little local blasters that were clearing the debris of all the broken shit. And then the mothership just like moved, the whole fleet just moved sideways to get around the rock. And then when that was started moving, the countdown started.
Mm-hmm. What would it take for me to transformer this telescope?
Oh. Well, you'd have to put your entire consciousness into it, which is not something you've done or even kind of realized you could do. But it's cool. I'm not going to say no to that. Like that's what do you want to turn it into?
A lance?
Okay.
Is like my first kind of. So,
I mean, it's not going to reach them in 7 seconds.
No.
Okay.
But it's like how sometimes when you see like, especially because it's got lenses, it can focus and redirect light.
Yep.
So you know how sometimes when you see in movies and it's like people have a really, really highly polished shield or a really, really highly polished like weapon?
Yes. I thought you wanted it to be a physical like projectile.
Oh, no. Sorry.
Okay. I understand. Yes. You want to change this into a refocusing laser.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. That seems very sci-fi but doable.
Like this would like that's where I'm pulling from is like that idea of like, okay, but if I can take the lens and make it a beam, like like the sun is over here, and I've seen this in movies before.
Yeah. So my issue here is you're accessing the telescope via remote, right? Like your power is not touching the telescope right now because it's out of range. Let's see. How far away is the moon? How far away is the moon?
Far.
238,000 miles. And the range of your power,
It's pretty
80
close.
yards.
80 yards.
It's like the same thing.
So
No?
booster would be 800, 8,000, 80,000, 800,000. So, oh, that's yards though. Oh god, this is fun. Sorry if this is boring to anyone else. What's 238,000 miles in yards? Oh, it's just times
Oh,
3,
Jesus.
isn't it? I think. I think
I mean,
it's
but
just...
like 3 yards isn't a mile, so.
Oh, no, that's right. How many yards in a mile? It's 5,000 feet. 15,000. What's 238,000 miles in yards?
Oh boy.
Okay, that's a lot. Oh, thank you, James V.
Wow.
That's 420 million yards.
420 million.
Thanks for adding your Thomas.
420 point.
Okay, so we were up to 800,000, 8 million, 80 million, 800 million would get us there. So we only need 7 boosters. How many dice are in your power? Oh, I have it here.
4. And then the base cost on them is 6.
It's not based on that. It's the fact that it's 4 dice. I'm just having you pay 1 per die.
Okay.
So it'd be
8
4
times 4.
times 7, I think.
Okay.
So, that's impossible. No one could do that math. 28. All right. I need 28 willpower to make this happen.
Okay. So if I burn 3 base will,
Oh, yeah.
then that would give me 30.
Yes.
And
Then you could spend 28 of that and still have 2 left over. What a deal.
well, technically I have 4 right now. It's just
Yeah. How much base will do you have?
8.
Oh, yeah. Okay, great. You bought that back up?
No, I mean I was just at 8, like from
Oh, what?
10 down up.
Oh, you were at 10 base will when you spent 2.
Technically, what happened is I was at 10 base will, and then I spent 1, and then I bought it back up, and then I've spent 2 since then.
Okay, got it. That's fine. I forgot that you started so high. I just knew you had spent at least 2 or 3, and I was like, wait, you're at 8? That's
Because
fine.
I started at 10.
Yes, I understand. So, I like that we're at this point of willpower. So, would you like to burn 3 base will?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Hector's like, it's happening again.
Well, hold on. I might be able to save you base will if we do this another way. If you want to put a die, buy a willpower die to roll. Now it's a 5 die power.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And the booster, what's the range on 5 die power?
160.
Okay. Yards. And we have to get to 400 million yards.
Jesus.
I think it's less. I think that's actually a deal. Like
Okay.
that would save you 100,000, 10,000, 100,000, million, 10 million, 100 million. Oh no, it works out. Yeah, it's not better. Yeah.
No, I would have to buy up to 7, right? Because it's that 4
Yeah.
that ends up being the tipping point.
Yeah.
So I would have to buy up to 7 and then go.
Yeah,
from
because then
there.
your range would be, what's the range on 7?
700 or 640.
640 yards. Yeah. Then that would be the 6,000, 60,000, 600,000, 6 million, 60 million, 600 million would only be
6 versus
6. Yeah, but it would be 6 times 7 willpower. No, actually, I think you got the better deal. Yeah, you got the better deal. So I know this is probably fascinating for everyone,
I'm vibing.
including my own players, but I like this part of it.
I
Sorry.
think this is amazing because like this is the like how far can you stretch yourself, and the
Yeah.
fact that like you weren't just like it's 400 million yards. There is zero way you can do this. I find that like amazing.
Yeah, I mean this is what I like about how willpower works in the game. So, would you like to buy 7 boosters for your 4 die power?
Yes.
Okay. And would you like to spend any willpower on dice to roll as well?
Yes.
Because spending all that willpower and only having 4 dice to roll feels kind of bad.
It does.
Just out of curiosity, how much baseball will you have left after you do this?
Lots.
5.
Okay, that's not bad.
Loads.
No, it's not. It is the advantage of having to.
That's great.
Though I will actually. Okay, so I'm spending 28 on that. So 34, 28. So leaves me with 6.
Mhm.
Okay. So we're just gonna say that I'm actually gonna buy down to 4. And then so that would give me 16 left, and then I would spend. So I have 4. And then I'll buy. Let's buy 3. Why not?
Okay.
And that leaves me with 13.
I think it leaves you with 3.
It would, but I bought one more. Well, I could
You
just
burned
not
one
do
more?
that. What I'm trying to like go through is because this power is a direct feed.
Mm-hmm. Oh, right, because you're going to roll and then have to pay more willpower. Yes, so you should burn an extra one then.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm with you.
Down to
Because it
4
feels
base
like
will.
like I'm willing to burn the extra base will. What
Yeah.
I'm not willing to do is like be like, okay, I go down to negatives and then have to like burn even more for that. Like that
Right.
feels bad.
Yeah, because when you go to negatives and you have base will, you just pay 1 base. You don't get any change back. So that's the situation you find yourself in.
Although I don't mind doing that too. Like if that's preferable for you.
No, I don't mind either way. Like that's a bad thing to have to do. I don't like if you're planning ahead for that and you're like marshaling all your power to do a cool ass thing. I didn't think we were gonna have 2 ascendance moves today, but like this is great. So you've got 6 dice to roll,
7.
7 dice, right?
I mean, I'm trying to buy up to 7. If I did the math wrong, somebody tell me. I'm
No,
now,
that's
like,
now that I
please.
understand you spent an extra one. 13 is right.
Okay.
Yeah.
2, 4, 5.
And then
Just
just
to
don't
listen to the radio.
get a width of 14.
Yummy. Yummy.
I haven't even seen that, and I know what you're talking about.
It's the 777s.
Is it? Okay. Yay.
So I'm glad I did that. 'cause, like,
Sevens.
that just spent the rest of my willpower left in
Okay.
there. So I guess I would have been at 0.
All right. So
And I
here's
could have
what
been
I'm going to do with that. And if we need to adjust this, let's talk it out. But what I'm envisioning is you have extended your power to change what the device is, right? You've turned it into a laser lance. And then you withdraw your power, and you can still access it remotely and trigger it remotely and aim it remotely, just with the normal remote control powers, not like piloting it first person.
Yeah.
Okay. But I want to have this scene of essentially it's you standing on the moon as this thing, right? As you're like changing this observatory into a weapon. What does that moment look like for you?
For Sapna, it is like a direct flashback to that moment when they were outside of the ship,
Oh yeah,
like
and
in
couldn't breathe,
Ultra Green.
and yeah,
Like, can't breathe, everything's frosting over. It's also oppressively silent
yeah,
because it's space.
yeah,
And then this telescope like morphs. And if anyone was looking at it, it would be this kind of like, instead of like lens focusing or like, you know how like you have like a tube, like a cylinder, like if you had a telescope that you were using,
yeah,
it would like chunk, chunk, chunk out.
yeah.
It's this kind of like grinding, bulging, like pieces of it are coming from the bottom, and like you can see things moving underneath the
Oh.
outer
That's
skin.
horrible. Yeah, I love it.
And like it pulls itself into like what looks kind of like a pair of eyes
Hmm.
that like, well, let me change this. It's instead of it like, it kind of like splits itself around the lens,
Uh-huh.
so it looks like a pair of hands with the lens in the center,
Sure. Like hands holding the lens. Yeah.
Mhm. and then moves it into position.
Yeah.
Awesome.
It's I have 2 sets of horrifying on this power.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good.
Horrifying has to be represented. Um,
Like, in
okay.
case anyone is wondering why it is like this, it's because Sapna's only exposure to the power has been on the Rising Star.
Hmm. Oh, and just in case, it is an unmanned station. Like, the
Oh, yeah.
observatory does not have people there, just so
I mean,
everybody
not
knows. Like,
anymore.
no, just
I
to be
wasn't
clear, it
even
was
supposed to be here today.
totally automated.
Oh, that's fun.
What
From
was it?
James V. It's like, so above, let's gonna add it in. Like, we got the 2 hands, and then above, you just grow up kind of like a screaming mouth.
Oh,
that looks
yeah.
like Silent Scream's mask.
So is the laser going to be its scream? Is it a mouth
Yeah.
laser?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's do it.
Amazing.
But yes, power is horrifying because the only time they have seen the power
Okay.
being used, it was incredibly horrifying.
Yes. Now, it seems like you would probably want to fire that thing as quickly as possible.
Yes.
Okay. Because we are at like 3, 2. Fortunately, lasers move very quickly.
Yay, speed of light.
Yeah. So what, let's, I think we just have to roll the attack part of your power.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, because you built a ranged attack power, which is exactly how we designed this to work.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
This will be my first time doing the like build over for variable effect, so
Yeah.
I know that.
Well, it's just the 4 dice of your power.
Okay.
So, and technically, I think we probably should have addressed the mass limit on this, but I don't care right now. It was a very skinny telescope. A lot of plant matter.
It's a pair of 9s.
Okay.
Yes.
That is a hit, a palpable hit. Yes, and this previously ignored scientific installation that they had no concern about because they're just looking for weapons, becomes a weapon, and this yellow beam of light is probably focusing sunlight. So this, just brilliant beam, you all can see on Sapna's little like phone screen what's happening, and it just arcs out or lances out, hits the top of the UFO, the giant mothership UFO, and there is a shield, right? Like this like blue force field, and then that breaks, and the top of the ship cracks open, and there's just like venting. Now look, you did 2 shock and 2 killing to a mothership. All right, that's real, but it's not enough to blow up the mothership.
Yeah.
Okay. And in a way, it's kind of good because they also don't have time to call off their countdown, which you'll see why that's good in a second. So this one, the mothership starts to like list and like crashes into a couple of the formations that were out there, and just taking out ships left and right. It's the mothership's force field is covering a lot of that damage, but you can see like you've torn a hole in the top of it, and there's just like stuff blowing out into space. Now, unfortunately, this is no longer a telescope, and you can't really zoom in on what's happening. But
Technically, there's still a LEDs attached, but it is not
Yeah.
working in that way anymore.
yeah, but so that is definitely having a problem. But what you see is, so this thing is like a little bit off balance, and you see it has fired several what look like landing pods. At first you're like, oh shit, are those missiles? And you can see they're actually like, they're really big and like too bulky. Like if that's a missile, it was designed in like the 1800s. You know, like
That's
that's,
a chubby missile.
yeah, it is like some sort of landing pod, right? That is on its way to the surface of the planet. However, the ones from this one, most of them are like off target, and you watch several of them. You know, if you don't hit re-entry right, you can skip off of the atmosphere. So this one fired 9 pods. I think that makes the most sense. Fired 9 pods, and like 7 of them go skipping off or turn sideways and just explode in fire and in the upper atmosphere, and only 2 of them are, you know, manage to stabilize and get down or like head towards Green Lake. Air
Right.
quotes.
I think there's like a moment where like I'm like following this like through what is left of like the telescope ability of the telescope,
Mm-hmm.
and I open my mouth to like actually speak to everyone and say, prepare for first contact.
Mm-hmm.
But it is not Sapna's voice. It is Tech Pro's voice.
Mm.
A shiver.
Mm.
Yeah.
Let's shall we go up to the surface?
Sure.
Yeah. That's, I mean, I assume you all want to go out to meet your visitors, right?
Yeah.
Sure,
When
why
visitors
not?
arrive, it's only polite to greet them at the door. So you all head up back up through the elevator. Dr. Green elects to remain in the bunker because she's not a combatant,
Please do.
and is still injured. Thank you, Chat. Oh no, only Kal-El and Gara-El survived. That's enough of a problem. Yep. But
Just kneel before Zod. It'll be fine.
you are like cursing how slow this like bean pod is going up through the tree and eventually emerge. I'm just assuming you didn't want to blast up and destroy the tree to get out. Is that
No.
accurate? Okay. I don't wanna characterize that
Eco-terrorism.
for you, because you can leave the tree the fast way if you want to.
I'm okay.
Okay, that's fine.
It's gonna take them a minute to get here anyway. Just fly up there.
Also, several groups of the little fighter-sized ones have peeled off and are heading towards the moon. Unfortunately, it takes a long time to fly from low orbit to the moon. Even in these very fast ones, it's going to take couple hours to get to you. And you can try to blast it, but they're like, oh shit, we got to take care of that thing. There's a weapon on that moon.
There wasn't
That's
a
no
weapon
moon.
there before.
Wait, it is a moon. Damn it.
Yeah, that's no. Oh, it is. Never mind. But
Death Star, that's a moon.
so I want to check in real quick too, Sarah. I'm sorry, I don't want to.
What's up?
What's Caduceus's state in all this?
Sleepy. No, don't mind me. I'm getting used to Eastern
I
Coast time.
understand. Yeah.
I think Caduceus, this is so far beyond. Like, the space station was one thing. That was like, it makes sense.
It was people in
Caduceus has
space.
always been as everyone else is doing big moves, Caduceus is focusing on the people on the ground. You know, he's not really a big moves guy.
Yeah.
And so I think he's just so out of his depth that he's just like quietly following along. He doesn't quite know what to do in this situation.
Okay. Cool.
If you're okay with it.
Yeah.
There's a moment like after the thing is fired, after that voice has announced incoming aliens, where like Sapna kind of like deflates a bit, and there is like a self-reflective like disgust. And they kind of look to you to be like, do you hate me now? Like it.
Oh no.
And I think he just, after like a small check, puts his arm around your shoulders as we ride up the elevator and just gives you a light squeeze.
Okay. So the four of you emerge on the top of the treehouse, and in time to see these great big containers come down. And you know, because you couldn't zoom in and it was hard to get a proper angle, they're coming down, and they get bigger and bigger. They're like, these are way big. Like these aren't like people sized, right? These things are like, they're the shape again of shipping containers, right?
Mhm.
They're this like rectangular box thing, but they're like 50 feet long. Okay, so like third of a football field, just in, you know, like and like maybe 40-foot square, right? So like a real stubby chonker, just like screaming down out of the sky. No parachute, nothing, and it just slams down. Like as you come up out of the elevator, these things are like just slam down onto the ground, but without any explosion, right? There's like a, you know, you feel the concussion, the impact, but no, there's no fire. There's, you know, nothing like that. But you also know they land in tree cover that is like this 50-foot thing can definitely disappear under the canopy.
Mm-hmm.
So two of those land relatively nearby. They land at kind of either end of Green Lake. But this place is even more covered than the ultra green world. Like the canopy is like Green Lake is almost entirely undercover. So what do we want to do? Head down there to greet our guests?
I need guns.
You sensitive, like law enforcement or anything around here?
Yeah, do they have any planet?
Yeah, I mean, there is a response is mobilizing, and it's just not going to be enough.
Right.
It's like they just don't they don't have tanks. They don't
Mhm.
have bombs or missiles.
Do they have like two logs that come together like
Yeah,
this?
I mean that's about
Maybe some spikes that come up from the ground.
yeah, yeah. Some pit traps.
Tiger.
They just don't have sort of militaristic kind of equipment. Even though they're a high-tech society, they just are like, why
Good
would
for them.
somebody build that?
I love that.
I can have my fantasy as well.
That's right.
Just don't get attacked by space aliens that want to kill you.
Well, right, yeah. So, uh,
I think, I mean,
Oh.
I don't have any weapons, so, and I don't plan on having any. I've got these grippers, so.
also, when they are within range, you sense there are two very strange minds within range that they've got to be alien. And I think we'd established you can only read human minds for the most part. I feel like sapience is really what we're talking about. So like you can't read a dog's mind, but you know, if we met sapient aliens and you read Scintillation's mind a little bit, right? So I think that's the bar for entry, and there are two sapient beings in the canopy down below.
Caduceus, I'm sensing mental activity. Can you read?
Yeah, what are their bodies like? Give me a read on those bodies.
There are two enormous bodies down below the
Enormous?
tree covers. Yes.
Oh yeah.
What? How
Like-
enormous are we talking?
30 to 40 feet tall.
I think Caduceus like hears that from you, and like it's at the same time that he's getting this feed, and literally just coughs out loud. Just like, okay. They're big.
Sapna message home and let them know that we've encountered some shit.
I think if you're okay with it, rather than everybody having to communicate through me to go to Dr. Light, can
Sure.
we just say like,
You've set up a relay.
yeah, like
Yeah.
it's like so everybody can talk and
Yeah, actually, once you understood, and we've been at home for like a week, I think everybody's communicator can phone home now.
Okay.
That's great.
Yeah, that's fine. That's more fun anyway. We're world hoppers.
you know, it feels bad.
Yeah.
It feels bad.
So,
So Hector reaches back out to Dr. Light and a green streak to say, like, this planet is being invaded by an unknown force. It seems like the beings are at least this size. Unknown. We'll try to check back in when we can.
okay. Also, Hector, I don't know how to sit. Your armor just showed up at the office and is asking for you. Is this normal?
No, that's new.
And that's on the like broadband, like
Yeah.
everyone's hearing that. Like,
Dad.
Ask Bill if he's willing
Daddy.
to come to a new planet.
Yes.
Send him through.
And well, I might as well roll, right? I think
Oh.
Uh-oh,
blue
another
is
planet.
high. 64. That's great.
All right.
Yeah.
That's great. Well, you still love me
Firmly
when
in
I'm
the middle.
64. Is this where my dad works? And yeah, it like appears in the treetops, or in this like treehouse is what I was trying to say. And should we go down to meet our guests?
Yep.
No. I think Caduceus is like, no, why? They're huge. He's lost all his courage.
Can't you make him in small?
I
mean, maybe the scale is unprecedented, but
I've never made a person that big. I don't know if I could make something that big, that small.
Just gotta take out a lot of the meat and blood.
Yeah, easy.
Or just make the heart smaller,
Think
right?
of that.
Can't pump the blood,
That's right.
hopefully.
Okay, so we swoop down under the canopy, right? 'Cause this is one of the tallest trees around, so it's like up above the canopy.
Veritable
Sapna, how close are you getting? Are you heading down as well?
yeah, I think like not front lines,
Okay.
but But it's also weird because it's like half of my have to, like my attention is so split right now across all of these different things
Yeah.
that actually I'm gonna say like it's like still trying to deal with the controlling telelaser business and then still trying to like listen in on what they're saying and
Sure.
then like also physically in my body.
Yes.
And so they're lagging behind some. Like it's like
Are you gonna maybe stay in the control room, like up in the treehouse? Is that the plan?
I think they'll go like if everyone is going somewhere, they kind of
Just
are
tag
set to
along because
auto-follow.
auto follow, yeah, slash follow. Okay.
So
And
I think Hector would posit to the team like, if somebody needs to leave, who needs to leave? Like to go back.
well, they can't send anyone back because
We don't have
Oh,
a
this
yeah.
platform's
transporter.
busted.
Duh.
Yeah.
Fear the moon.
I mean, we can Sapna and I can stay kind of more in the bows if y'all want to get a little closer. That's what you're feeling.
Yeah, I'm happy to go up front.
Yeah.
Okay. And by the way, Hector, when you suit up into the armor, it's operating the exact same way it always has. It's not like making conversation with you. It's just like, like all the systems come online and you know exactly what to do.
Hector's kind of like, if you see anything bad, just close your eyes.
So also just to clarify, it doesn't have jetpacks. It just moves through gravity. It's a gravity drive, right? So it's just like up, down. So it's like very
Clunky.
yeah. And no, it's smooth. It's too smooth. It's like uncanny valley smooth, right? Of like move forward. It just if there's a gravity field, you can move through it. And you're on Earth, so there is. So the two of you swoop down below the trees. And as you head down there, you can hear cue the running and the screaming, right? There is also what we would characterize as automatic laser fire, like the sound of it. Yeah, as you get down there, you see these just red bolts of just cutting trees down, like just cutting a swath through the forest. And you are faced with two enormous like power-suited individuals. And
These guys are dicks.
they are at least 30 feet high. And what we're looking at is basically one of them seems to be if you had a 30-foot tall Hulkbuster, but rather than Tony Stark, you had a Stegosaurus in it. An anthropomorphic Stegosaurus.
Whoa.
They're taking vengeance on us.
Standing on two legs with just automatic weapons, just, so there is a Stegosaurus
We want
and
your berries and leaves.
and a anthropomorphic Triceratops, also about 30 feet tall in power armor. And that's probably a good place to call it for today.
All right.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us for episode 19 of Pinnacles here on Happy Jacks RPG, a Wild Talents superhero story. Chat mods, James V specifically, thank you so much for doing this with us. It really sucks to do a live stream without chat mods, and we just can't thank you enough. Also, our Patreons keep us ad-free and independent. Always appreciated at any level, including $0. That's fine. We totally get that, right? But if you've got a couple extra bucks, it goes to all the hard work Kimi has put into making this awesome studio for us. We're a like lowercase nonprofit. We're not like a registered nonprofit, but we don't get paid to do this. We're out of the just for the love of the game.
If you roll it, they will come.
Yes. Let's go this way. Enge.
Hey, I'm Enge. I play Chainsaw Frank Sentinel.
That was good. That was very efficient.
That's right. You can find me on the internet at you can find me at johnenge.com. But But if you want to know all my places, it's John Enge, JONENGE, at card, CARRD.co. I think that's,
And it's in the show notes.
there we go.
Hi, my name is Eli. I've been playing Hector El Vagabundo. Fuck my social media. We're here about crafting stories. One thing is sometimes we craft stories about ourselves that aren't true, so make sure you challenge those stories.
That's good advice. Sarah.
Hello, I've been Sarah. I'll always be Sarah, except when I'm not. You can find me everywhere as Sarah's Coffee, except on Instagram, where I'm Sarah_is Coffee. I'm gonna be PAX Unplugged, which is December 1st through 3rd. So if you're there,
Yay.
come and give me a little wave and say I loved you in that thing, and then refuse to elaborate. Do not tell me what it is.
I loved you in that closed circuit security footage.
I loved it when I was peeking in your window at night.
Yes.
No, don't do that. Don't stalk people.
No, that's horrible.
Don't do that.
That's why it was a joke.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, I am Pooja, and I have been the most horrifying version of Sapna ? And
Yes.
does the limit exist? You can find me on the internet as Forgotten Saves. And you can also currently find me on Queen's Court Games Monday nights
It's here, it's here, it's here.
playing Mekong,
Yes.
our Southeast Asian mech space opera of the ages. This game has been a long time coming. Incredibly proud of the work that we have all done, and am so excited to have it out in the world. So,
Awesome. And my name is Jason. I'm the guide of this game as much as the game can be guided. You can follow me on Twitch, Twitter, and Blue Sky at It's Probably Okay. I stream on Twitch on my own channel at It's Probably Okay. Wednesdays and Fridays, I like to play games that are hard, and I die a lot. On Wednesdays, we wear death, and every other day as well. So, yeah, that's it for me. Thank you. Oh, yeah, join us next time. Next Sunday, it's 2 p.m. Pacific time here on happyjacksrpg for session 20 of Pinnacles. And if you want to catch any of the past episodes, you can go to happyjacks.org/pinnacles or /shows for anything and everything we've ever done here, which is a lot. So thanks, everyone. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
bye.